Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 218, Saturday, September 21st. We're back down in the basement to talk about another week of professional wrestling after we banter for a little bit. So I'll always say, in case you're new, there are timestamps provided. If you want to skip past any part, jump ahead to anything, avoid listening to us talk about non-wrestling things, you can do that now or stick around. The light banter week. I think tomorrow's your brother's 14th birthday.
I don't think something.
And he seems kind of no major plans. He seems kind of non-committal about plans. So we'll see what we get into tomorrow. But
I feel like that was the thing last year too.
He'll be listening to this probably the night before his birthday. So early happy birthday to you, Nate. And the only other thing I thought to banter about was about your windfall at work yesterday, which is kind of funny. So I come home from pickleball, played a couple nights of pickleball this week, had fun, played pretty well. And there's a giant monstrosity on the kitchen table.
So I said windfall, and I was like completely lost.
So go ahead and explain this giant thing on our kitchen table.
And inadvertently won a raffle.
He inadvertently won a raffle.
The same way Ron Simmons won a WCW World Title shot in 1992, and then he proceeded to beat Vader. So
wrestling tie-in.
Unlike Ron Simmons.
So you work at one of the local grocery stores. You said you did not even enter this.
It was just like a colleague raffle.
And I assume
it's just.
The part that amuses me the most is not, you don't seem happiest that you won the basket. You seem happiest that some of the old ladies that really wanted the basket didn't win the basket. So I have failed as a father, I feel like, a little bit.
My favorite part is that a bunch of the ladies in the front end, like around cash or whatever, they're mad that I won it because like they drew and they're like, who the hell's Jack? And like,
because you're like the undercover produce kid that they don't know.
My favorite is, well, half of them I don't know their names, so it.
And
Potato.
They probably don't love that if they're full-timers, this part-time kid who doesn't even want it.
And let's be real. Yeah, like half the stuff I don't need.
Like there was...
my favorite part is...
It's a cool basket, but...
They're all mad that they didn't get it. And like, if I didn't get it, I wouldn't have known it existed.
Right. So you got some... Your mother, I'm colorblind, so I don't know, but she said like the cups and bowls in there are an awful, hideous color.
Think it's that bad.
I didn't either,
like like brown. It's like definitely an autumn color.
It was like a fall themed, right? So there was a little pumpkin and
I don't think
coffee.
They're bad. She disliked them more than I thought she would.
Yeah. So you could take those back and offer them to the old ladies that were disappointed they didn't win.
Or you sell them for a profit.
I don't know who's going to buy them off you.
And then there was put them up on, what do you use for stuff?
What do I use for?
I don't know.
Or Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I could make money.
That's where I buy most of my audio gear, using a beautiful white Lewitt LCT 240
For every
Pro.
stupid thing you buy, there's some chump out there who will buy it from you.
Although this I bought new, but it was on sale because I won't pay full price for audio gear, even though I'm obsessed with it. But now I'm obsessed with pickleball paddles. I think I bought my 5th or 6th one, and I've only been playing since the end of June. So it's a bit of a problem, but I don't know. I don't buy expensive ones. Same thing. I won't pay full price. I try and find comparable quality for much less price. But anything else you want to discuss? Anything new this week? I've been planning a few possible indie shows for us. So I told you there's one going to be doing 2 dates really close to us, but not till January, February. So I bought a new device that we could try.
What?
So my buddy Bark over at Obscure Mics, if you don't follow him, check him out on YouTube. If you have any interest in audio gear, even not, because he's pretty entertaining, just talking about whatever he has a whole bunch of other projects as well. But anyways, he did it's a little wireless microphone set. You get 2 of them, and so it's a lightning one, plugs directly into your phone.
That sounds like a wire.
To upgrade the audio. No. So there's a transmitter that plugs into your phone almost like a charging thing. And then that you just have wireless lavs that you clip onto yourself, and it picks up your sound.
Huh.
So I thought, like, just to try it out, not even that it would be really interesting to anyone, but I do this because I want to do it and do stuff I want to do in this on this channel. So what I thought was maybe it'd be fun on the way home from like a indie show. We just clip them on and even you're videoing in the car while I drive just to see what it sounds like.
Like if we were driving home from Windsor.
Oh my God. Windsor, you still on that? What's the date on that again?
October 19th.
Scott Demores. What's that? Maple Leaf
Pro. Yeah.
Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. Yeah, that show with Takeshita, Josh Alexander, and Takeshita and who else? Bailey?
I think that was the other one.
That's a crazy 2 nights. So I'm hoping to find that on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
At least because driving 4 hours is a lot, but getting it on pay-per-view isn't. So we'll have to look into that. But yeah, so I thought I'd pick up that little gadget and experiment with it, and maybe it helps us add content out in the world at some point if we feel like it. But anyways, I don't know. I got nothing else on my mind. Do you?
No, I'm boring.
we're both pretty boring. We're in a rut, you know? And I don't mean that even negatively because I'm a creature of habit. So the rut is comfortable for me.
Yeah.
It's like work, come home, nap, pickleball,
Or it's like
coach,
if I am
work.
doing stuff, it's also not like I'm gonna bring it up here.
Yeah.
It's like it depends. Yeah, it has to cross the
Yeah. You're a
threshold where
private person,
it has to cross the threshold where it's worth bringing up as
but
well.
not too personal.
Yeah.
I got you.
So there's also,
Yep. I get it. I'm in the same boat. It's what to talk about without review. Dude, we've been doing this 4 years and my first name still isn't on the record. So has not
can be
slipped out.
easily remedied.
It could be. You could out me for sure. But I don't know. I figure we should get into talking about wrestling and I'll have a sip of coffee in between. So it's our first segment every week. It's where we take a look at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. All right, so taking a look at the ratings. Sorry, what was the headline that you heard about the NXT
There
ratings?
was something that like it popped a big difference. I don't remember what I saw, but I know I saw something related.
You were like, so I hear CM Punk popped a big rating for
Let's see if I
NXT,
can find the post. I think it might have been a post.
which I suggested was probably a bit of clickbait because the actual numbers are, yes, it's up. So NXT averaged 677,000 viewers this week. So that's up 7.8. So that's not nothing, but it's also not like a huge difference, right? Also earned a 0.21 in the key demographic, sorry, up pretty small 2.5. And even before you told me that, the additional note I had added was, I'm sure CM Punk will be given credit for this bump in rating. And he
I
was.
swear I saw
And
something.
to be fair, maybe it is deservingly so, right? Maybe that is why it's up. But again, up under 8% and under 3%.
Oh, so
in the
it
demo.
was NXT hit its highest rating in 10 weeks. That's what I saw.
Okay. Yeah, but not by a ton, right?
I
So,
don't know.
no, 7.8% is not huge. It's not nothing, but it's also not huge.
CM
So,
Punk sucks.
well, I mean,
Can't pop a big
he did
rating.
infect my... I got a lot of CM Punk this week, and I didn't really enjoy any of it. But again, I'm kind of biased towards not enjoying him. But anyways, we'll get there. Dynamite, 687,000 viewers this week, down 4.1%, and a 0.22 in the key demographic, up 4.8%. No real sports competition, but head-to-head with the season premiere of a show that we used to watch that we've fallen off of.
Goldberg?
No. Only reality show you watch. Survivor, yeah. We've missed a few seasons now.
Yeah.
Your mom and I have gone from never missing a season since it started to now, like, yeah, not really
Life
missing.
goes on.
It was fun to watch with you guys a little bit, just because it was something we could all watch that was, although your brother really never got into it. He's not a TV guy.
He doesn't actually watch crap. He just watches
his phone.
Crappy YouTube.
He is a young man.
Or now he watches the shorts, which are even crappier than what he used to watch.
Yeah, I can't get into YouTube shorts. You're like an old man at heart, like me. Eh?
You
reject the things of your own cohort.
I do watch the shorts on Instagram sometimes, but like interstitially with like I still prefer actual YouTube.
I'll watch the odd short if it's my buddy Barks on Obscure Mics again. I'll check his out.
But like I infinitely prefer actual videos. Like I was just watching like
me too.
I think an under hour long video about like a retrospective on the same guy did for Fallen Order and Survivor. I think Fallen Order is 5 years later, obviously, and then Survivor, it's been like over a year since that one's released. But like, I really enjoy the super long Cultaholic videos that I watch. About like whatever wrestling thing.
And you just kind of put them on while you're gaming and stuff. Too, right?
That helps. And then I'll like chop away at them if it's like a multi-hour one.
Same. I'll watch giant pickleball podcasts or whatever.
I definitely prefer something with
your long form.
Any remote substance.
You're more long form to short form. You remind me of me as a kid when I would listen to AM radio and everyone took shots at me when I was a young person listening to like sports radio.
Well, and I didn't get TikTok when it like first came out. Yeah, it's like all like the stupid dances and that's all I saw. So I was like, nah, I won't get it. Even though people are telling me like there's other stuff.
There is, of course.
But I kind of made a decision I don't want it, and
you are your father's son.
I have stuck to that since like it's been out since like I want to say 2018, 2019. To this day, don't have it.
You're very much me, sir.
And
very much me.
And now with reels and shorts, whatever, TikTok is not just TikTok.
Right.
It'll get elsewhere.
That's exactly it. If it's really, really like a big video or whatever popular content, it gets everywhere.
Or some guys that I like will post everything everywhere. Like the major people who talk about Marvel movies, it'll be on everywhere. Same video every platform. Or this one guy who collects toy lightsabers.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Which is what we should be doing, actually is putting this out on every platform, but I don't want to.
The guy who collects toy lightsabers, I think he's Ontario. Because I see him talk about whatever, and like I forget where, but he's Ontario.
Back on topic here. What do you got for news? Kind of a light week for me.
Just to kill all the optimism you had for the rest of the year was both Raw and SmackDown will be 3 hours
Well,
next year.
look how happy he is to tell me that, like, the show that I always see, I don't want to do anything for 3 hours outside of playing a sport.
Now, in theory, you would have to do both for 3 hours.
We're non-SmackDown people, so that doesn't affect
Although
us.
SmackDown is said to be temporary for 6 months, so, real temporary there.
And then until they see whatever revenue difference it makes.
That's because, they're trying to see if it does well or not, right?
Right.
So, 3 hours on a Friday.
We'll file that under bad news that you find funny because I'm the one that watches Raw already, so.
You're so excited for the 2 hours this year. And you're like, oh, maybe it's a sign.
Nope. Absolutely not.
I wonder what the 2 hours is for then now, since they're not keeping it.
I don't know.
Seems odd.
Yeah. So, speaking of sort of, I don't know how to segue that.
Well, you gave up on that one.
I did. AEW's pay-per-views reportedly have a new home in 2025, right? Streaming on, as sort of speculated, Warner Brothers Discovery streaming service called Max, which I don't know at all. Could be January or possibly
I know we don't
sooner.
have it because every time I see there's a show on there, I'm like, oh, well, I'm not watching that.
I don't know what it means for Canada, right? Because the whole WWE's on Peacock meant nothing to us up here. Nothing.
What do they stream off of now? Because I know they're on like. Well, what I know an option we can do is you can pay-per-view on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which I know they do.
Yeah.
So at least there's that.
I have a feeling we'll still be getting it through our cable provider, and they'll deal with whoever they're dealing with.
So,
but anyways, I just thought it was noteworthy. Anything else? I have like 3 more, I think. Maybe 4. Maybe some are a loose definition of news as well.
Keeping on the AEW TV, I guess, is The Observer reported that Rampage may be canceled amid the Shockwave rumors, which I would expect.
Thank goodness. They can't. They're already spreading themselves too thin. Like wrestling nerds who love AEW like us only watch Dynamite. So we're probably representative of a decent.
There's no universe where Shockwave exists and Rampage continues to thrive.
We talked about it while watching Dynamite. Like, why not give the women a show that's an hour or something?
I think that worked.
And you go from like, okay, the beginning of the show maybe is some of the like less experienced ones into like, the ones we're really focusing on. I just even
think, regardless if they do that or not, even like kind of reskinning Rampage as Shockwave might give it a shot up the arm, because like when Rampage started, it was still a heavy hitter, and like there's a decent amount of big moments throughout its timeline. Like we were talking about
there's been matches we've gone out of our way to check out.
Yuda's big moment was there. Punk's debut, like the initial one where Christian won the Impact title from Omega.
Yeah,
like they're kind of few and far between now, but there are big moments on that show. So I feel like maybe rebranding and kind of putting some more effort into it, and not giving us like Yuta Butcher was one of the matches this week.
Like making us feel like if we don't watch it, we haven't missed anything. There's nothing we're going to be lost on.
You can go lower card, but really give us something to like still check out.
I agree. MLW Slaughterhouse, I guess it's a pay-per-view coming up for them.
It's a horrible week when we were talking about MLW.
I know. That's right. But just because it's out of interest to me, there's a match coming up on there. So apparently TJP was supposed to face Dijak on that show and is no longer. So it's been replaced with Trevor Lee. So that's just me being a Trevor Lee and Dijak fan in ring, at least. So that's a kind of an interesting match. I'm not saying I'll go out of my way to see it, but there's a chance I might check it out.
I won't.
No, you won't for sure, but I might check it out.
I know. I don't care about MLW.
I check in every now and then.
I just can't. They look so low rent, and it's just not.
Yeah, but so did ROH when I was watching it. That doesn't bother me.
Well, yeah, ROH is doing so great now.
Well, no, now I know.
Miro has reportedly requested his release from AEW.
Yes, like
okay.
To cut to people going, he was still there, right? Like I bet there's a group of people who were
like injured or something. There's something else after the whole.
He kind of seems like a guy, who's not happy in places. But I
feel like
he thinks he deserves a lot more attention and time, and maybe he does. But again,
I don't know. I feel like he also kind of didn't live up to the hype.
I kind of like the Redeemer. I think he kind of got sidetracked by injuries too.
I think injuries sidetracked him. The Redeemer was good, but I don't know if I like how high his ceiling was. And then
video
also,
game Miro, I wasn't a big fan of.
That's true. The Rusev thing, he got super over at the Rusev Day, but then obviously in that machine, it was never going to go anywhere
because he got over on his own.
Right.
So heck no, you can't do that.
I don't know. Just in AEW, he just doesn't seem like an AEW guy. Like his gimmick wasn't bad. It's just I don't know in that. Like I feel like in WWE, if he went there, I think he could do good because he's not bad. It's just I don't in AEW. He never. I never loved Miro. Like I liked the Redeemer, but I never like.
He's
gone, I don't care.
I just had hopes that whatever he decided to do in AEW would be awesome, right? Because I kind of liked him, and I'm like, this is a fresh start with a new company. And again, it would just like stop and start probably because of injuries mostly. And at this point, it's on the FNS bingo card for me to say bloated roster, probably, right? Like I say it all the time. So it's hard to find room. But where are you going to go? Back to WWE where you already weren't? You know what I mean?
Although
you weren't
he
happy
hasn't
there.
been there in a long time, so I feel like he could try under the new regime if Triple H wants him.
Yeah, and that previous era is gone now, like a year or not, basically now, right? I think
something like
Triple
that.
H era.
Although, I mean, I have some suspicion.
Yeah, for sure. That you some suspicions that someone's voice is still being heard.
Yeah,
redacted. His voice is still heard. So this one I put in. I love Danielson, both as a wrestler and seemingly
him talking about Swerve,
seemingly as an awesome person. So he believes Swerve.
I don't know how you can hate Danielson when you just like read stuff.
And I wasn't a huge fan of him in WWE, right?
He just seems like a stand-up guy.
Like when he says these types of things, I'm about to read 2 quotes of his.
To me, it doesn't seem like he's bullshitting any of it.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. I feel like I believe what he's saying.
Genuine.
Because some people, like if it's Cody Rhodes, I'm like,
I knew that. That was the example I was going to use.
Okay, Cody.
I knew. Well, it's all in like, I feel like it also depends on the verbiage he uses because Cody will definitely phrase it differently, and you can tell it's like.
And Cody knows exactly what to say in every situation,
saying, right? The wording is
the sincerity. But anyways, he believes Swerve's success in AEW is a testament to like the benefits of having an alternative to WWE, basically.
Right. I like that he doesn't even bash WWE for anything, even though they definitely dropped the ball with Swerve, but it's like
he goes out of his way to say like some people will do better there, some will do better in AEW, some will excel in both, right? But 2 quotes I thought were great. First one from Danielson. I mean, he's incredible, referring to Swerve, right? He just signed a new contract with AEW, and that is one of the benefits of having 2 mainstream wrestling companies in the United States. WWE didn't see value in him, and they let him go. Goes on to say, him, Claudio, Samoa Joe, anything you need them to do, they do it without hesitation. The way he's been able to show everyone how skilled he is of a professional wrestler, I'm so impressed. I can't say enough about him as a professional wrestler or a human being, right? So, and I think Danielson really appreciates, obviously, like the professionalism of these guys.
Yeah.
Right? And it's what we always say about Samoa Joe.
No doubt works with Claudio a lot.
Give Samoa Joe anything. It doesn't matter, and he's gonna
put him through a wall.
He's gonna do his best with it, right, and make it cool. So yeah, just Danielson being Danielson, and I like to point that out that there are good people in the world of wrestling because we get overwhelmed by horror stories of people being monsters and stuff. So this dude seems like a good dude. Anyways, sure. What else you got?
Oh yeah, the one we don't love is Lucha Bros have reportedly now signed multi-year deals with WWE. Gross. Set to debut on the main roster. And of course, production of masks, t-shirts, and other crap is already underway. With someone like Penta, the merch train's gotta get chugging as soon as possible.
And that is one of the main reasons I think he might actually get some attention, right? Is because they see money in this
attention,
guy.
Yes, but like, no, I don't know.
He's gonna have to rein in his style, probably. Well, Phoenix will for sure, to some degree.
Phoenix is gonna get the Ricochet treatment,
or he's gonna be in LWO or Legado.
Like they might get featured, but it depends on how they get featured. To me,
because they can't see anything beyond their origin or race, so they'll be shoved into a group probably immediately, I would guess, which is too bad. Because I'm not really covering TNA much anymore, I put it in news that did you hear the main event for Bound for Glory, late October set?
Is it Nemeth and
who would you think?
Hendry?
Yeah, Nemeth, Hendry, which
I told you the number one contenders match was Hendry and Kaz, so it's
right.
Like, come on.
I wonder who's going to win that.
But like, just Kaz, really.
And Henry's hot right now, but I'm kind of not excited about anything Nick Nemeth at this point. I don't know what it is. I used to love Ziggler.
Because I just think like he's not a top guy. And if he was going to be the top guy, that was long ago.
And I think part of it is he had so much time in WWE as not the top guy. It's like
you can't really buy anywhere else.
Right. It's not like, well, they underused him and he still has this. He's like past his prime, never was the main guy. I don't know. He's just not super interesting to me.
For sure.
Anything else from you? I have one more.
Kevin Owens' contract is reportedly up soon.
It is.
He's been approached about a new offer, and AEW said to be highly interested as well, and they're expected to make an offer if he hits free agency.
Because he's friends with the Bucks, I hear, right?
Yeah.
So
remember there was speculation about him like a while ago, I think. when his contract went up before.
I'm happy to hear both companies are interested. I assume he'll stay with WWE, but
I think he actually does pretty well there.
And the fact that AEW is interested means he gets more money, right? And as a dude I like and a good Canadian boy, if he has multiple offers, hopefully that means he gets paid.
I do,
and I'm always happy for the workers to get paid. I don't think they need more
people, but I would be curious to see what he does in AEW.
Me
just because, like, even in the WWE machine, his character survives as a real person.
Yes.
So
he's
to
amazing.
See what he would do in AEW, where that's already kind of a thing,
and to see where, and maybe like I don't know what input he has in WWE, but I feel like in AEW he could have more input into what he does too, and what he says for sure. Right? So it'd be interesting to see him sort of unfettered. Although he's one guy who's definitely carved out a really great spot for himself, as long as he wants it, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Right? In WWE. Last one I have that no one is going to care about except you and I, because we're big. We talk about this tag team all the time. Who made their debut at a recent TNA taping, Jack? Tag team. Women's. You told me.
Oh, yeah, Bright Gray.
Bright Gray of... So wait. Oh, no. It's Carly Bright and not Layla Gray. Don't say Layla Gray. It is... Her first name is... Gray. Anyways, they took on... Kendall Gray, thank you. They took on Spitfire, which is Danny Luna and the Canadian girl, Jody Threat. But we're tight with her parents, remember?
Yeah.
At an indie show, they were sitting, right in front of us while she was wrestling. Anyways, so yeah, we just enjoy the tag team name Bright Gray. That's the only thing that makes it newsworthy. Anything else from you? I'm done.
The last thing I had was Adam Cole's reportedly backstage at Dynamite, and he's been walking around fine.
It's been a long time, eh?
Well, he did absolutely destroy his ankle.
Yes. So.
And destroy his storylines in the process. I did just see something talking about it. It's
where does he fit in now? Where do you go?
I think he comes back, they kick out the Kingdom, bring Kyle O'Reilly into the group, and pretend Wardlow doesn't exist. Ah, crap, I mentioned.
But can you...
Wait, do you think Wardlow's like a Beetlejuice thing if I say his name 3 times? I've said it twice.
Let's not tempt it.
I can't say it again.
No, nobody can.
Yeah.
This whole episode, no one can say it. I'm going to try and lure you.
Say what?
I'm going to put it as a trivia question. So that you have to say his name.
You're going to alter the trivia in between segments and then just bust that out.
Put that in myself. Just so you summon Wardlow. Oh! There it is.
Wait.
Sorry, everybody. Does that count?
Yeah. Is it like, I don't know how Beetlejuice works. It's like...
He said it 3 times and he like shows up.
Do I have to say it 3 times or does it have to be in a row? And does it have to be just me?
If I remember correctly.
Because
I haven't seen the new ones. So
I haven't said it 3 times.
True, you haven't.
Or in a row.
True.
But yeah, I don't know where he comes back. Cause like,
do you have to go back to finishing the MJF thing? I don't think so either.
MJF's not the same now.
I know.
You can't do that.
But it's also weird to just like...
I think because remember MJF kind of got gave him his comeuppance. He brainbusted him at Double or Nothing before that return promo.
I guess.
So I think while it's kind of messy, you can make the argument that that's the write-off.
Yeah.
Because now MJF's like you can't do it. You can't have Cole come back as a babyface. That literally makes no sense given how the turn happened at the end of last year. So you can't do it.
I mean, is it impossible? They flipped Swerve and Page and it worked somehow.
There's no...
I know.
You just... Because that was because Swerve got like organically... Over. Like if that didn't happen, or if like you know what I mean, if things went, the reaction was just different, you could have stayed heel and like that wouldn't have happened, right? Yeah. It's not the same thing with MJF or with Cole, where it's just like, you know what I mean.
It would be hard to get back to that.
I feel like you just have Undisputed Kingdom rolling as their own thing now.
Yeah.
Except you ditch the Kingdom.
You fire them,
and you bring in O'Reilly.
Yeah.
I just saw a picture of the match graphic from Dynasty. I forgot when O'Reilly had his like caveman hair.
Oh, yeah. When he first got there, wasn't it?
When he first came back, yeah.
All right, so I guess that's going to wrap up the news. We will turn... I don't know what word I was going to use there. We're going to switch to talking about the show
that might have been it.
That we go into the most depth every week, and that is taking a look at this Wednesday's episode of AEW Dynamite. All right, so if I remember correctly, I really enjoyed last week's episode, did I not? Right? That was a fun one. Ended with the tag team gauntlet. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Am I remembering things better than you? Wow, that's tough. So yeah, I was hoping that the momentum would sort of carry over. It's been like this Moxley crew has just been a shot in the arm, right?
As far as Motley crew, but Moxley.
Right.
Or aka the Pack Pool Combat Club.
And as someone more dialed in with the digital universe, I was asking you if you thought it was being as well received.
I think so. I haven't seen a lot of people.
We're both really in, right? So I
haven't seen a lot of people talk about it.
Okay. All right.
Because mostly I follow the one guy, Authors of Wrestling, on Instagram, and then like the other stuff I'll see from like similar accounts.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything really.
It just comes up on my Explore page, so kind of what I see on various things varies.
Right.
But we see said people, Moxley and people arriving.
Minus
Pac, which is odd.
Yeah.
He's absent from any of the current stuff.
Wasn't he there for a bit? Didn't they show him at some point?
Remember, it was the promo from last week.
Oh, right.
That's what it was.
Sorry, okay.
And then Darby arrives as well, skateboarding. And we opened the show, unfortunately, with Orange Cassidy versus Christopher Jericho.
Wow. You like this less than I did, but we'll get there when we talk about it. I feel like you weren't paying full attention because it's Jericho and you're just not going to.
Yeah, that is what happens.
Yeah.
Cassidy dives on the pile to take out outsiders, which there's conglomeration and learning tree people there. Jericho goes to the crowd, eats an orange punch for 2. Jericho caught Cassidy in midair and locks him in the walls. Cassidy eventually counters him for 2. There was a botch where they tried to do the tilt-a-whirl DDT. Jericho, to his credit, saved it and hit a power slam for 2.
I put that too. Like, it didn't bother me at all because not everything should be flawless.
They just kind of didn't. I don't think Jericho positioned the right way to grab Cassidy up the right way.
Yeah.
But they did end up saving it decently, so I'll credit to Jericho
for kind of
pulling that out there.
I agree.
Michinoku driver from Cassidy for 2. Jericho catapulted Cassidy into the barricade. Back suplex through the timekeeper saver from Jericho, which looked pretty solid. Diving crossbody from Cassidy. Then he went for the tilt-a-whirl DT again. Jericho countered into the walls. Cassidy's able to crawl to the ropes. Jericho counters the orange punch with the code breaker for a near fall. Beach break for a near fall. Ref is distracted. Jericho tries to hit Cassidy with a roll of quarters a la Juice Robinson.
Right.
Cassidy kicks him and takes them. Then a loaded orange punch gets him the win.
Yeah, there was one spot. Remember, I put the most egregious move into position to take a move ever by Jericho.
Yeah.
It was Cassidy hit something out on the floor.
And Jericho kind of wanders into the ring, slides into place for a springboard,
Right, and then slides up to the ropes to take. It was, excuse me. It wasn't the best. But anyways, this got more time than I expected it would, and
it was a little long for my liking.
I liked it a lot more than I expected to. I thought it was actually a pretty strong TV match and easily Jericho's best effort in quite a while. Good back and forth action, some solid near falls, a decent spot or 2 along the way. I don't know if I'm a fan of Cassidy needing to cheat to win. You know what I mean? Against Jericho.
I guess so. It's not like he needs to. I guess it's just more of like a heel gets what's coming to him, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I enjoyed this match quite a bit and way more than I expected to.
Yeah, I thought it was solid. Easily Jericho's best ever in a long time, which really doesn't say much, but it was
a low
better.
bar.
It is very low bar. I still don't love it, but it was better than I expected, and I'll give Jericho credit for recovering on that DDT botch.
Yep.
The rest of his work was fine and like about as meh as usual, but things picked up a little towards the end. Cassidy was also a strong opponent to work off of, so Jericho benefits from that. Not my favorite diamond opener by a long shot, but it turned out okay.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, I'll say.
Hopefully we can end this feud, though, because this doesn't need to be happening.
Jericho feuds don't end, but we know this. He's got another 3-4 months of this.
This one's been brewing for 4 years.
I know. That's right, since the jacket, right? Yeah.
Then we get I was going to say BCC, but I'm going to say Pack Pool promo from last week.
It's the PCC.
Yeah. I feel like, I was saying the Parents Television Council at PTC.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Pac spoke to Yuta, saying they had a trios title match next week. And Claudio talked about how they need Wheeler to show up and defend the titles. And he said he's not mad, he's just disappointed. Classic parent
move, yeah.
And he asked Yuta what kind of man they taught him to be. Mox said Yuta's not forced to be with them, and he can do whatever he wants to, but he should do, I think he said something like fight for the greater good or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said he should look in the mirror so he'll know what to do.
Yeah.
I love this so much.
Go ahead, talk about it first then.
Okay. I enjoyed it a lot. They continue to deliver. It's really good. Their heel logic makes sense. Is like, and I think we kind of talked about this in the moment, but technically they did nothing to Yuta directly. So from their point of view, there's really no reason he should have a problem with them and like be avoiding them essentially, right? And that of course would ignore the part where they suffocate his mentor, but heel logic and a heel logic.
Yes.
I also really enjoyed how Mox is essentially gaslighting Yuta here. He's like, you can do whatever you want. Meanwhile, he's clearly trying to like goad and manipulate Yuta into doing what they want him to do.
Almost subtly menacing.
The greater good. There is a subtle like menacing undertone there that I really enjoy. So this hasn't missed so far. This was exceptional as well. I really enjoyed it. And it got us a bit of Pac on TV, so I'll take that as well.
I felt like it was your level of detail noticing, but I really like the choice of music they put under it too.
I like that.
I thought that sort of added that little bit of menacing, like, you know what you need to do, and there's sort of like an implied threat if you don't make the right choice here, right? Which I thought was cool. And technically, they didn't do anything to Yuta, right? It was basically Pac was like hugging him in the corner, making him watch.
He didn't like choke him out or anything. He just
Right.
kept him
didn't actually hurt him, right? So they're kind of saying like, listen, so I thought this was super engaging, and I really like that Pac gets to speak here. So yeah, I thought this was, again, like you said, this group has not missed yet for me.
Yeah,
and that's including one of our least favorite women wrestlers in Marina Shafir is suddenly cool.
I'll talk about her later. I really enjoy her. Then we get a Yuta interview to follow up with that. Al Scoops is getting in on it.
Yeah.
Yuta says he's conflicted, and he was like talking about then he said Wrestle Dream instead of Grand Slam. So I think that was meant to kind of communicate he's kind of scatterbrained,
right?
Because it felt and Marvez called him out on it, so it didn't feel like an accidental slip up. Like it felt kind of
planned. It was recorded, right? So if it was a problem, I think they could have redone it. So I think that's well, you're right that it was. I think that was intentional.
And some guy from backstage handed Yuta his trios belt because he forgot in the locker room or whatever. Yuta said he's a fighting champion who has pride in carrying the titles. He said he wanted to be a champion or something like that. He said if they want to defend the titles, he'll whoop whoever's ass he has to. So it seems like he's going to kind of go with them. But I thought it was a solid follow-up from Yuta. He's definitely not as strong on the mic as any of the Blackpool boys. But I thought he spoke well here, and I thought he did this disoriented kind of
conflicted thing,
yeah, the conflicted tone. He did it well, I thought.
Yes.
Again, I think it's all working, and they're clearly doing a can they coexist thing next week. But weirdly, I think I'm gonna like it, which may be a first time for that trope.
Yeah, and it's coming up on NXT as well. They're going that route again. But yeah, I thought again he sounded good here, better than he's kind of hit and miss, right?
He's pretty hit or miss. Yeah,
I thought this was pretty good, and the fact that he is conflicted, it's giving him a little bit of a story to tell, which is what a lot of people in this company need, right? Because
he's not
something to do.
He's not just completely against them,
right?
And not completely.
And he may end up being against them or whatever, but at least there's a little bit of can they coexist, as you said, right? So I thought this was another good segment for somebody involved with Moxley's group.
Yeah. Then we get Hook versus JD Inc.
Is he appropriate? We were joking about that. That's his given name on his birth certificate, so that he felt the need, like his destiny, because that man is covered, other than above the neck, right? Like his legs are completely covered in tattoos.
Oh yeah, I feel he would have been perfect for Shannon Moore's Inc.
He was like a smaller, thinner Brody King, basically, kind of thing, without the beard.
Or I think like that one indie guy, Kevin Blackwood's pretty tatted. It reminded me of him.
Yeah, yeah.
Bit. It was a hook.
We talked about him as long as the match, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a hook squash. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Suplexes, Red Rum immediate tap. Roddy and OGK are on commentary, but nothing happened. Like so, this just felt like a waste of time.
It did. It didn't further any story.
Usually, a squash like this has the angle afterwards to kind of justify its existence, but really, it was like he kind of like there's kind of a stare down with Roddy on commentary, but like nothing actually happened.
No.
Just furthered nothing. They're having a match next week. They could have been off the show completely, and nothing would have changed.
No, it wouldn't have changed anything. And throw this on Rampage or whatever if you want to. And remember, we were joking too about if JD Inc. was wearing a Giant Gonzalez like bodysuit instead of fur. You know, he can buy those sleeves where it's like makes you look like you're tattooed. He just has like a bodysuit of that. But anyways, so my comparison here with Hook is I'm comparing him a bit to Trick Williams on NXT in terms of the trajectory that they were on has sort of leveled off, right? Whereas when they started out and they were inexperienced, I was like, man, they're kind of interesting. But it's like the more Hook does, the less I find him interesting, which isn't a great trajectory.
Kind of the opposite of the path you want to be on.
Yes. Like it was one of those things where, yeah, for the amount they've wrestled and amount they've done, they're really cool and really interesting.
Well, Hook kind of had that cool, mysterious aura about him, but it's like,
right.
We kind of understand what he's about.
And now. Trick as the sidekick, for lack of a better term, remember how much I was loving him with Mello, right?
Yeah.
Like he would just chime in with the little things, and he was this big, cool looking dude beside Mello. And then when he went out on his own, it's like he doesn't quite have that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I kind of feel that way about Hook right now too.
Yeah, and even in the beginning of this year, I thought they did a really good job with that Samoa Joe match, and there was some potential there. But now it's like I feel like they've, like I said, the Jericho Vortex kind of screwed him. And I'm not saying that's completely to blame, because Hook clearly isn't like the most diverse guy. Like I feel like
Yeah.
it's like if he's gonna have a squash, this is every squash, right? But I feel like the Jericho Vortex really did him no favors.
Right.
And like we said, there was never a universe where he was gonna be better off.
No, of course not. The best you can hope for is to like neutral.
And I would say it's neutral to lower because
Yes, for sure.
and now he doesn't have the group with Samoa Joe and Shibata that I thought had potential for the trios division. That might have been a good spot for him because then that doesn't completely expose Hook, right?
And I feel like the difference is when you're working with Samoa Joe, he's honestly interested in helping you get over, where Jericho is like,
he wants to say he's doing
I'm going to get myself over first, and if you happen to get over along the way, cool, right? If not, whatever, I don't really care. I'm just obviously speculating, but that's how it feels to me.
For sure. Then we get a private party interview. They say they're ready to fight Claudio and Pac and Wheeler Yuta, so they're taking the open challenge. And Cassie said if Moxley wants war, expect the unexpected because they'll own their asses. And so while I wish they were more prominent in the tag division ever since their return, I'll say it again. Like I was pretty excited when they came back.
Yeah.
This is at least something a little kind of high profile for them. It's something for them to do. I want them more prominent in the tag division after this, but at least they're doing something tag adjacent in trios.
I kind of was said similar things.
They have no chance of winning at all, but I'm glad they're doing something.
Yeah.
They're also kind of more serious and fired up, which I like that they kind of got bitched out last week. So now that they're like, the fire's been lit under them. So I kind of liked that they were serious here. I assume they'll team with Commander since that was the plan last week. I hope it's someone else. No offense to Commander, just because he's not exactly of high standing.
No, he's not. He's like, wow, he's fun to watch, but he doesn't ever win. We don't compare notes or anything, but pretty similar. I said they actually got to show some personality here, and I don't think it was amazing, but I'm glad they got to speak for a decent amount of time. And I said the same, they're going to get killed by Mox's group, but could be a good match, gets them a little attention. And yeah, if you want to sort of eat them up as a tag team, maybe they probably won't, but they could.
Because they should be like a pillar adjacent for the tag division, like the younger kind of homegrown team that they could use a lot more.
Yep, and they gave them that early win over the Bucks, and then never really capitalized on it
early. Yeah,
and
then they got stuck in like the Matt Hardy group, which was the Jericho curse before there was one.
That's right.
That was the Jazz before the Jazz.
Yep.
Except even lower because they really didn't do much.
They did not.
The only thing I remembered Big Money Matt doing was the AFO with Andrade, and then I remember he had a match with Hangman at Revolution.
Yeah.
And I remember that because Dark Order helped Hangman in the match, and that was kind of the start of their
arc.
Yeah. Anyways, then we get a Patriarch interview. Christian's talking about he and Nick Wayne. He said he has plans for them to hold two singles titles at the same time. So that was kind of funny. Like he's planning on that. He had
Luchasaurus is standing there, right? Like being excluded.
I figured that was kind of the subtext there, right? So I like
course.
that. And it's not like there's not enough singles titles, so it's just
there's a million.
Christian going out of his way to be like, nah.
I'm not even thinking of you, but I'm putting all my eggs in the basket of my other son.
Christian made Renee announce him as the undisputed defending next AEW champion, which made me laugh because like he's not. It's just not.
And wasn't he also talking about pointing out that it was reminding us that Renee is married to Mox somewhere?
Yeah, he was like because he was saying he knows Mox's designs on the title, but he doesn't have the contract or whatever.
Right.
Again, there's no way that contract is like Luchasaurus is costing him either way.
Yeah.
Whether it's Moxley or Dancing with the belt, or even Darby if you want to go there.
Yeah.
And then they were looking at Kip Sabian's off in the distance, and he told Sabian he's not sure why he kept hanging around them. While saying he doesn't care his dad's dead, and if he keeps bothering them, he'll put him in the dirt with his dad, which is pretty awesome.
I thought Christian was amusing as always, and I'm guessing Sabian ends up joining the group, right? Doesn't it feel like that?
I don't know.
Even if they beat the hell out of him in a match.
I don't know, because like, why would he join them?
What else is he doing?
I don't know. That's why I'm confused. I don't understand why, because this has not been elaborated on whatsoever.
And is his dad actually dead, Sabian?
I feel like it has to be.
Probably, right?
If Christian's mentioned.
I think it ends with Sabian joining the group, and then I don't know where you go from there, but I don't know what other angle.
I don't understand what it is at all.
No, I guess maybe we'll find out. And again, this Christian having this title shot is a way to get him and his antics on Dynamite every week, without him having to wrestle. So I think it makes a lot of sense, and I'm fine with it
for sure. Then we get Yuka Sakazaki, and Queen Aminata versus Mariah May and Serena Deeb. I said if I wasn't aware of Collision, it'd be very confusing to see Yuka back.
Yes,
randomly.
She is a tiny, tiny woman. Okay, like I wonder who's bigger, her or Riho.
Oh, Riho.
Well, you talk about it, and I'll
I
look
feel
it
like
up.
Riho has to be smaller considering I don't know if I ever heard her mention that Yuka is also 98
I know,
pounds.
right? That's the 98
That's the
pounds,
kicker.
98 pounds.
Some Rules May hit her running shotgun dropkick to Aminata. Yuka hit a Northern Lights bomb to Deeb, then suplex May onto Deeb before pinning Deeb for a 2 count. Dreamer suplexes for all, and then Yuka does some hammerlock spin to Deeb before dropping her. Splash to everyone on the outside. Yuka hits her magical girl splash to Deeb, but then May breaks the pin with the belt shot for the DQ, and then she keeps attacking Yuka with her belt.
Yuka is slightly taller and heavier according to their build heights and weight.
So.
I thought this was getting pretty good.
It would have been good if it had more time and a proper finish.
Right. The finish was disappointing, but at the same time, it's on brand for Mariah May, right? So I can't be too mad about that.
I just feel like maybe then they should have waited a little more too. And I just don't like it. Felt like kind of a lame DQ finish for a company who doesn't do that a lot.
And I felt like it was pretty much Yuka showcase, right? It felt like the middle chunk was all her doing. And she looked good, don't get me wrong, but I was happy to see Deeb and Aminata on TV because I like both of them, but this clearly was not a vehicle for them. They were like an afterthought here, right?
For sure.
Yeah, a little disappointing. Thought it was starting to get good, and then it was just cut short.
Yuka looked pretty good because it was the showcase for her, like you said. But her finisher's kind of lame. Just the splash is like, come on.
Yeah, especially if she weighs 100 pounds.
That too.
Yeah.
Hopefully her versus May is good next week. I do find it odd she just randomly been dusted off again because I don't remember the last time we saw her. Or
is she under contract even?
I think so.
Yeah.
I swear there was something where people were like, "Oh, she got removed from the roster or whatever."
No, it says she's signed to All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah, and somehow she made it into the game even though she never does anything. Like she's been an original. It's just like weird because it feels like she's been absent. Yeah, she's on the roster page.
Huh, she's older than I thought too.
Like I don't know, it's just odd.
Yeah.
Anywho, then we get a Mira Shirakawa vignette. She said she hasn't heard from May in months, and she watched May win the title at Wembley. She said she's changed. She doesn't know she likes what May has become, but she still misses her, and they had many good times. She said she still wants May in her heart, and she said everyone wants Mina, and she is coming.
She is intriguing.
She intrigues me. I like
her English is good, right?
So I think her English is decent.
It is.
I don't fully know how I feel about her because like I do kind of like her, but like I don't a lot just because I still don't fully understand what her shtick is, and then
I know
she's just intriguing. So I kind of like her. And I got time to just kind of see it. You know?
And there's some charisma there, right? And I know we're supposed to be like she doesn't know friend or foe, but it feels like obviously this is May's next defense, right?
Feels like it.
It's going to go into feud, not friendship.
Probably for Wrestle Dream,
right? Because there's nothing else kind of in the
Wrestle Dream
on the horizon.
Like, Wrestle Dream's the Inoki Memorial thing, right? That was the whole deal with it last year,
right?
So like I feel like there's some promotionalness to it because we had like Sabre dance last year, so I feel like this one we get this will be kind of a crossover with like Stardom, and then Okada Takeshita kind of feels in that same vein, even though they're both under contract,
right? So I'm guessing we're gonna get Mina and Mariah May, but I guess
maybe
we'll find
Storm
out.
comes back after. I could see a 3-way.
Yeah.
At Full Gear, maybe that's the plan, and then you could do Mina at Wrestle Dream before.
Yep.
Then we get Nigel McGuinness vignette. There was technical difficulties first time around, but once it gets going, there's a bunch of old ROH clips and then some talking heads from ROH centric people like Roddy and Jerry Lynn. It was a strong package, I thought.
It was.
Sells the feud for anyone not in the know and helps build aura around Danielson in his final run, just like as like Nigel's kind of like jealousy, I guess, or whatever. Like right. Just kind of really sold Danielson as a big deal, so I like that. I don't think Nigel has any chance of winning, but this is well done.
It's kind of like, to make a Canadian reference, I think Nigel feels like a whole bunch of super hyper elite hockey players felt in the era of Gretzky. Like, you could be amazing, but you're not Wayne Gretzky. You know what I mean? Like, you might, even if you're like the second best hockey player ever, for that era, you're like...
You're second to Wayne Gretzky.
That's right. So I think that's... And even for me, who was aware of and even saw a little ROH at that time, not a lot for sure. I didn't get a lot of American Dragon ROH time, but it even helped me, right, fill in the gaps of like, oh, this guy was like the next guy in the pecking order, sort of, and this is his constant feud sort of thing.
Not only is it that like you can make the argument, and I guess at least from Nigel's perspective, he's like the best, and then next to Danielson, so like the Gretzky thing, but also then his career got taken away from him, like Danielson, but he never got the comeback Danielson was able to have.
And he has to sit there every week on Dynamite or whatever, hearing everybody rant and rave about how amazing this guy is, and totally no one ever mentioning like Nigel was almost as good, you know, and that's just been burning him up. So
It does kind of work now
It
that it's all
does.
kind of paid off.
And if he can knock the ring rust that we thought we saw in the gauntlet, was it? And he gets back to like close to his peak, like it should be really, really good. And if anyone's going to carry you, not carry is a really strong word, I get that, but like help you get to a really good match, it's Danielson. So
Sure.
I thought this helped me quite a bit, actually.
Agreed. Then we hear from Mox and company. I just want to know, like, I still really love just switching to his New Japan theme, just because with how different this group is and story's been, like the presentation, how they act, and everything, the tone of the theme compared to Wild Thing before, it just like fits them perfectly, and it just sounds more badass. I really enjoy it, just like because I was always like I didn't really care if they use Wild Thing or not, because like it kind of just fit as a catch-all, because he was heel and he would still use Wild Thing a bit, right? But I really think since this is a clear overhaul of his character, not overhaul, but clear
Tweaking,
distinction.
whatever.
Yeah, there's a clear distinction between this and Mox before. Just really enjoy the difference, and I think it's just nice.
Yeah,
it suits them nicely.
It does.
They get jumped by Private Party in the crowd. Brawl breaks out. Play gets involved a little. Claudio in the ring murders Quinn with a chokeslam backbreaker, and he hits another one.
It looked awesome.
I enjoy Shafir's getting in on the physicality too. She's stomping the crap out of Cassidy against the barricade. Like, she's attacking them too. Commander appears in the ring, drop kicks Claudio off the apron, then goes for a suicide dive, gets leveled with an uppercut. Play judo throws Alex Abrahantes and takes his mic. Mox grabs
I like that because she could have just grabbed it from him, but she's like, "No, I'm gonna throw you down and take it."
Mox grabs a hammer from a toolbox while Claudio's Cassidy stage side. Mox says he could end their careers for what they pulled, but he won't. He says they've been here since the beginning and they're in the same spot they were 5 years ago, which is fair.
It's very valid. Criticism.
He says he's going to give them an obstacle to overcome and to consider this a gift. Then he smashes Cassie's hand with a hammer against the stage.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm doing you a favor by breaking your hand.
And then Darby runs down the ramp, hits Claudio with a skateboard. Mox and Darby stand off the ring, but oddly they don't fight. Play is kind of like keeping Claudio back, which again kind of gives her some credibility there. Like, kind of keeping back Claudio in line. Yeah. And I'd like to think Mox is like kind of giving her the okay to like, to kind of keep them in line. And so Darby swings with a skateboard. Mox bails out of the ring. Darby asks when Mox is going to realize he's not the same guy from 5 years ago. He says he'll run through Mox the Grand Slam and he'll walk in Wrestle Dream in his home state and become the next AEW World Champion.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this as well, right? You've got them. Unfortunately, it doesn't help Private Party, obviously, but this is what you knew as soon as they crossed paths with Packpool Club that's what they're getting. So it's what we expected. And Darby coming out sort of swinging skateboards makes sense. They're going to retreat, right? They don't look. I mean, it is still just one person coming out, but I think
Darby's also Mad Lad.
We're getting to the point where Sting and the baseball bat has been pushed down to Darby with the skateboard. Like, that's enough to take out 20 dudes. And gives him the power to maybe no-sell a bunch of stuff too. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this was fitting with what we've seen from this group for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I thought it was another killer segment for them. Vicious beat down Private Party. I thought it looked good. And my favorite part was that Shafir's beating them down too. Like, she's just another guy.
Yep.
Like, she's getting involved as much as them. So I thought that further added to her cool factor as their kind of heater. And so far, they've surprisingly done her role perfectly.
Yeah.
It's very surprising.
It is surprising. She is still cool.
Yeah.
After being not cool at all.
Forever.
For a long time.
Vicious Vixens.
Oh my God.
Wait, no, was that was Vicky and Nyla.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's included in that. I'd like to think she was. Everything else was good too, though. Claudio looked like a beast wrecking Private Party. The hammer bit was solid, and Mox's promo was good. And he did have a point, because Private Party really haven't done squat since they began.
100% true.
Because their big win against the Bucks is still their biggest thing. So Mox is right, but then heel logic is they need to be fortified by his way, which is what they did, right? Like, this is, and so then in that regard, I think it serves the angle he's talking about dancing. Like, your way doesn't work, so now I'm gonna fortify the next generation my way, and that's kind of what he's doing here, right? As misguided as it is,
and that's the thing. In Moxley's mixed up mind right now, breaking that guy's hand is actually helping them out.
That's the adversity. Cool. So I like that. Like, Private Party did kind of get chumped again, but it does serve the overall angle, the story that they're telling here. So I liked it.
And you can help Private Party if it does sort of benefit them, right? And they do. I don't know where we're going from this, but maybe it does motivate Private Party. I don't know.
And Darby was good too on the end. I'm looking forward to next week, which will be the Darby mock match.
That should be fun.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Then we get a Jack Perry vignette. It was just highlights from recent matches and the old promo and commentary sound bites. And then there's some radio sounding speak describing the scapegoat bus.
Yeah,
It was solid.
It was a cool package, but I'm like, I don't know what it accomplishes other than like, this is more evidence of how he is. Didn't really further anything or do anything new, but it was
Cool package, nothing new.
Yep, exactly.
Then we get Ricochet versus the Beast Mordos. I said if he doesn't change it soon, I might have to nominate Ricochet as my worst attire of the year. I don't like his look.
I don't even remember what it was.
It's been the same since he debuted, and I've complained about it every time.
What is it?
It's just like the long pants over the kick pads I don't like, and then these ugly gloves, and it's just like,
right.
I feel like you should go.
I know you've complained about the gloves. I remember that.
It's like when Dawkins, and when the Street Profits turned heels last night, Dawkins started wearing the gloves, and it was just like, what are you doing, buddy? I don't know.
No, I wouldn't even notice.
Quick corner uppercut, clothesline Inzaguri from Mordos. Springboard clothesline followed by running shooting star from Ricochet for 2. There's some wicked arm drags and acrobatics from both guys. Mordos caught a dive from Ricochet, powerbomb on the apron. Pop-up Samoan drop for 2 from Mordos. Catch botch, but Mordos then grabbed Ricochet for powerbomb to recover. Ricochet counters really quick into a code red, which looked wicked on the floor.
That code red looked awesome.
Springboard 450 splash for 2 from Ricochet. Avalanche Gorilla press slam from Mordos for 2.
Awesome.
Then finished Ricochet counter move from Morris and a crucifix bomb. Then he hits an axe kick and lame vertigo for the win.
Yeah, man, Mordos is so cool to watch. And I thought Ricochet had a little bit of extra snap on a few of his moves tonight or whatever night, Wednesday night. And yes, they made a mistake out on the floor, obviously. But again, it doesn't really bother me that much. A really good TV match, I thought. I mean, I think we're both in the same boat where we're rooting for, even though we know it's not happening. I'm like, I'd be happier if Mortos won this.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think that guy is like, I'm still excited to watch him in any capacity at this point, right? So I love that guy, and this was a really cool match.
Yeah, this was it was great for a TV match. Morris really showed out. I feel like they got to show off. They let him show off every facet of what makes him special. Like we got a bit of everything, like the power, intensity, speed, agility. It was all there to a degree, right? For what he was able to get. Even though it's
supposed to be for Ricochet.
Yeah. And while I would have absolutely preferred him to get the win here, so he still looked good and it was predictable. Ricochet was great too, matching in the agility department. He had some cool stuff, but I feel like he's saving another year for Ospreay. It must be why he's using the lame vertigo finish instead of literally any other cool move that I know he can do.
And the 630 is cool.
630, even a shooting star, corkscrew, something. Like,
yeah.
Just not vertigo.
Right.
Or even the recoil, at least. Like, I don't know.
It's not my favorite either.
No, but it's better than vertigo.
Yeah.
Then we get a Hangman promo package. Kind of like Perry's. It was just old clips and promo bits.
But he just continues to be one of the most interesting characters in the company for me. Yeah. And the fact I like, because they acknowledge in this thing that Swerve made him this way. And I think that allows them, to circle back around to Swerve if they want, and then Paige to continue on this story of like, anybody that's kind of helping out or sympathetic to Swerve, I've got a problem with, right? So that can lay out a whole bunch of people for him to, while staying connected to Swerve, because like we're saying, this is like an all-time feud, so you can keep coming back to it.
Yeah, for sure. Then we got highlights of Collision, which was FTR and GYV, and then there's stuff with the Outrunners, but then we go to Hangman in-ring with Shivani. Shivani mentioned it all out. Paige beat Swerve in that violent cage match. He went on to say Paige claimed it wasn't over because Paige wants anyone who supports Swerve, like you said. And Paige said he's watched and listened for a long while because he knew the day would come when Swerve would be dealt with and he'd be gone. He said he knew that wasn't just Swerve who needed to pay for what happened to him. He said the people who protected Swerve from Paige and people who supported Swerve will need to pay. He kind of went after the fans for supporting Swerve and cheering him every title defense. He shared about the people who supported Swerve when he was locked in a cage, and he spoke about how when he was home for 4 months, suspended, he would hear the voices cheering Swerve on. He said he heard another voice loud and clear above them from the commentary desk, which is Shivani, so he's kind of intimidating him. Shivani mentioned Jeff Jarrett, but Hangman's like, he's not here and you are.
Right.
So like that. Then Jarrett comes down. They kind of brawl, but security and refs take them away. Jarrett says some stuff. I don't want to talk about Jarrett.
I'm fine with Paige wanting to kill all Swerve supporters, and I'm sure he and Jarrett are going to have like this violent match or whatever, because you can't really count on Jarrett to have a strong wrestling match anymore, I don't think. But they could have chosen anyone to play the role of
I don't like that it's Jarrett. And again, the babyface thing's still not working.
And it just was off of him interrupting Hangman backstage. So that could have been anyone, right? Trying to be the voice of reason or whatever. Could have been anyone.
if they didn't have the match in the Owen tournament, this doesn't happen. Because
to
like
me,
that's the only reason for me is that they had
yeah,
Hangman was violent towards him in the tournament. That's the only reason.
and Hangman's hot right now, and we love him, and we'd love to keep this momentum. This is not like maintaining his momentum to me, having him do stuff with Jarrett. I did like him. I could see right away that he was going to be turning his attention to Shivani, which I think Shivani's always a good sympathetic figure, right?
Yeah, I thought that got easy heat at Hangman,
for
which
sure.
I liked.
So Hangman's awesome. Not happy with it being Jarrett, but whatever, I guess.
Yeah. The one sign that was funny was, remember, it was Christian Cage wears socks to bed.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome. Those are my favorites. The like really bizarre insult signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good work from Hangman, though. I love how insane he is right now.
He is a believable
He does it really
psycho.
well. The intimidation of Shivani was great. Like saying that's good heat because everyone loves Shivani. And he was selling like the fear and discomfort really well. So props to Shivani as well.
Agree.
Jarrett was fine. Just it feels like a bad choice for a feud for me.
Agree.
Then we get a Ricochet interview. Ospreay comes in before Ricochet can speak. Then Ricochet recalls Ospreay telling him to get his wins up. He said he knows Ospreay is teaming with Fletcher next week, so he wishes him the best. But he informs him he talked to Tony Khan. They're going to have a match the week after. So I guess in 2 weeks from this Dynamite on the 5th anniversary show, it'll be them for the international title. He said they had some matches that changed professional wrestling. And Will's been on another level, but he's still Ricochet and he's out of this world. And he said he would see him soon.
I thought there was some logic problems with Ricochet because he's basically like everybody's lining up to wrestle me and nobody seems to want to. Maybe because they can't beat Will Ospreay. That's what my response if I'm Ospreay is like.
That works.
Yeah, because they can't beat me.
I thought he sounded solid though, and I think he made a decent point there. I thought he delivered it well.
Yeah, his delivery
was a strong promo for him, which it usually
for him.
isn't.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't think strong overall, but strong for him. And at least they're trying to add something to the build.
I would say like, heel logic if he was a heel.
I feel like there's a stronger way to get there somewhere. I don't know what it is, but the match should be crazy. I just wish there's just more heat to it somehow. But I don't know. It's still going to be cool.
I feel like they're just relying on the past.
That's it. Then basically, these are two like video game guys that are going to be just doing crazy stuff together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then we come to our main event, which is Ospreay, Fletcher, and Takeshita against the Elite, which is Okada and the Bucks.
What a collection of talent. Like, say what you will about if you like the Bucks or not. Like, this is a crazy group of talented people.
And then you got the super squad of the Callis boys.
Right.
There was an exchange between Okada and Ospreay. Takeshita aggressively chops Ospreay on the back to tag him in.
Sorry to interrupt you. On the entrance, right? Fletcher holds his fist out for a fist bump forever, and Takeshita does not do it. So in the moment, I was like, oh, maybe Takeshita doesn't just see it, but going back, that's clearly a storyline point. I think, right?
Purposeful.
Yeah, I agree.
Stereo Tope Atomico is in the ring from the Elite. Then shortly after the Callis boys hit Stereo punches the inside, so a lot of Stereo stuff in tandem. Fletcher hits his corner running kick to Nick. Jackson falls with a brainbuster for 2. Okada and Takeshita face off. Big forearm and a leaping lariat from Takeshita. Brainbuster and a warm up senton from Takeshita for 2. There was a great flurry of offense on Okada from the Callis boys for 2. I don't remember exactly, but it's too much to know, and it was just
absolutely
strung together really
These
well.
matches are impossible.
Double super kick to Takeshita, no sell, and I was just like, yeah, because when Sting does it, I hate it, but Takeshita does it.
That's right.
Takeshita.
People we like, go for it. Yeah.
But Takeshita's in his prime, and he'll kick your face off, so
yeah,
I feel like he deserves it. Double close under the Bucks, and then he takes a shotgun dropkick from Okada. Air raid crash neckbreaker to Takeshita for 2 from Okada. Risky business from the Bucks, followed by diving overdrive from Okada to Takeshita. Then they flip off the fans. Takeshita hits a double drum in the Bucks, which leaves the opening for the Ospreay hot tag flurry. Of course, like a normal person, he hits the standing sky twister to Matt for 2.
Doesn't make sense.
It's just
it's AI generated because you can't actually do that.
It doesn't make sense because I don't know why. I thought he was going to do a normal moonsault too. I was like, oh, here comes a beautiful moonsault, and I don't even know.
Crazy.
Ospreay has Matt up in a tiger driver position, but then they spin into a spine buster from Fletcher for 2, which kind of reminds me of the Jurassic Express from Jurassic Express back in the day. Great tag offense from I almost Undisputed Era. Jesus, United Empire guys. Cool, because I wrote UE and UE. I think Undisputed Era. They took there's great tag ons from them in the Bucks, obviously kind of setting the table for that. Then Takeshita counter Rainmaker into Blue Thunder Bomb, which is great. Hidden Blade to Nick, and then Ospreay and Fletcher hit the Coriolis Shades of Aussie Open to Matt for the win. Post-match, Fletcher and Takeshita shake hands, and then again, there's a tense standoff between Takeshita and Ospreay. Takeshita's key for sure.
He is.
And then during this, the Fletcher's theme plays because obviously he wins, but the Trons are United Empire. Shades of Aussie Open.
Right. Wonder if Davis is close to coming back and that's going to be put into this storyline too.
You could do them versus Takeshita, Trent, and I guess Bruce is kind of
Oh, yeah,
in there
Trent.
now.
Okay, where's Trent?
I'm just saying he's technically in
I
the
don't want to
group.
Brody Liam, but
He's technically in the group.
where is he? So really fun trios match. Felt like one of those classic ones where AEW, this was their thing.
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly what I thought. The kind of trios matches I definitely like to see.
They were really frequent in the infancy of Dynamite.
Not the learning tree one that we got a couple weeks ago.
I do get annoyed though because there is an actual division for this and champions who are like not visible for long stretches of time.
I mean, the champions are
Current
visible right
ones.
now, yeah.
Current ones are, but it's not like they're really touting that that's their thing. You know what I mean? So this had to be good with the guys involved. I thought it was really interesting that the A, Fletcher gets the pinfall,
Good for him.
and that B, Takeshita's out of the finishing sequence, right? Those two worked as a tag team and hit a tag team finisher, again, leaving Takeshita on the outside looking in, which I think is cool. And that's obviously, that's something we're doing.
Yeah, the story told with Takeshita here was done well throughout.
Yeah, and you got to see a really good match. So I thought this was a good main event.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Everyone in this match is quality, and it's all meshed great together. Everyone looked good, and I like they whet the appetite for Takeshita and Okada as well. Takeshita looked worthy, and I thought the story they were telling with him, Ospreay, was done really well. Fletcher and Ospreay had some really cool tag offense too. Some Aussie Open nods in there, especially with the finish. Nice to see Fletcher get the pin, and we'll see the match next week, which should be great. And hopefully Davis is back soon. I feel like that's kind of what they're teasing.
I think so.
Between Takeshi's issues with Ospreay and the United Empire Tron's post match, something's going to happen soon. I feel like United Empire likely forms away from Callis and they feud there. Takeshita has to win gold either way, though.
Yeah, he has to. Overall,
the toe philosophy, Takeshita over everything.
That's right. Overall, I don't think it was quite as strong as last week, but I thought it was still a pretty strong show. Like the Jericho opener over delivered for me. Ricochet Mordos was really fun. Main event was really fun. We got more of the Packpool Combat Club, which again, 2 or 3 segments and everything's hitting from that. The Nigel Danielson package I thought was super helpful, right? So I went with a B+. I thought it was not as good as last week, but I thought still like good momentum for a few stories. Page as well, like his momentum's carrying over. So I like this show. I gave it a B+.
Yeah, for sure. I thought the first half or so wasn't as strong, but things picked up in the latter half.
But
in-ring was solid. The opener wasn't bad, but not my ideal choice. The hook squash was completely pointless.
Agreed.
The women's tag was good in ring, but too short and a lame finish, so it gets hurt by that.
Agree.
Ricochet Moros was great, and the main event was super strong too. Segments-wise, Mox and company carried the load again. Everything involving them was strong. Even the Yuta one, I thought was good.
Right, I forgot about that.
The story's still fresh and firing on all cylinders. Private Party was good. Patriarchy had a good segment. Hangman was good. Even if I hate Jared. So overall, I agree, B+.
Yeah, good show. All right, so we'll take a break from deep diving into wrestling shows, talk about a little wrestling trivia. We call it Off the Top of His Head. All right, so I did a search for trivia and then I filtered it by like this week. So this was 5 days ago, put out by WWE. So I think it's new content we haven't hit before. It's supposed to be, it's weird because they've called it like photo trivia, but the photo makes absolutely no difference to you really. So it's 40 questions. We're going to do the first 20. I looked at the first several and I think you'll get them. I don't know what the last 15 or so are like. So it'll be a surprise for all of us. Ready? You have multiple choice options if you need it. I feel like you won't for most of these so far. Which Mr. Money in the Bank became the first to successfully cash in his contract at WrestleMania?
Rollins.
Correct. Seth Rollins.
Wait, how's the picture factor in there?
It's exactly what I'm saying.
Like what's
the picture? Like what the slide with the answer has his picture on it. And I guess it's a nice image. I don't know.
I guess.
So it says, think you know everything about WrestleMania? Test your IQ with this tricky quiz, blah, 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 blah. Anyways. Which NXT alum was the lone superstar standing after he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 32?
Corbin.
Correct.
I figured it was going to be
Corbin.
Corbin.
And it's the picture of him like Lone Wolf Corbin, like old school long hair.
That would be it, yeah.
Number 3. Who has competed in more WrestleMania matches than any female superstar? I have options if you'd like.
I feel like it has to be Charlotte, but
it is not Charlotte.
Trish?
Yes, Trish Stratus is correct. Charlotte was one of the choices, or Mickey James, or China. Number 4. Which NFL Hall of Famer once fought Bam Bam Bigelow in a WrestleMania main event?
Oh,
You love
Lawrence
sports.
Taylor.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
though you don't know anything about football, you know that.
You know it.
Number 5. How many F5s, I like this one, did Brock Lesnar need to break The Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania XXX?
5.
You say 5. It is not 5.
The 4.
Nope.
The 3.
It is 3. Sounds like an auction now, a reverse auction where things get lower. Number 6. Which rock and roll legends performed Triple H's entrance music at WrestleMania on 2 separate occasions?
Wouldn't it have to be Motorhead?
It would have to be Motorhead. Yes,
Considering they did the music, I would hope that it's them.
and what were the other options? Are they realistic? Run DMC, Limp Bizkit,
No.
Kid Rock.
Run DMC did do that.
I think they've all done.
They did the Kings. It
wrestling
was like a
stuff.
version of the DX theme, so that one's actually kind of fair for Triple H.
Yeah. Number 7. Who is the only McMahon family member to win a match at WrestleMania? A good one.
Shane,
Correct.
because he beat Vince
Nice.
at X7.
Number 8. Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels raised the stakes for the Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania 10 by competing under what stipulation?
Ladder match.
That's a hard one.
That's what they tout as the first ladder match, but like
the most
I think
famous
Brett
thing
and
ever.
Shawn had one on Superstars in like 92.
Right. Number 9. Charlotte Flair became the first women's champion at WrestleMania 32 by forcing which female superstar to tap out?
Sasha.
It is no, it's not correct. Sorry.
Isn't it Becky? Oh, it was Becky.
It is Becky Lynch.
Okay, I know one of them got tapped out. Flair held back the other one. I can't remember which was which.
And then, of course, we have to thank Stephanie McMahon for all of it because she is responsible for women's wrestling.
And Leah introduced the belt. So she also played a role.
Right. Okay. Number 10. Which larger-than-life superstar was John Cena's first WrestleMania opponent?
Big Show.
You're confident on that? You are correct.
I mean,
Big Show with hair, according to the image.
Yep. It would have been like 04.
Number 11. True or false? Rock's victory over Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 19 marked the only time the Texas Rattlesnake ever lost one-on-one to the Great One via pinfall. Wow, there's a lot of... You get that? So only time he lost one-on-one to the Rock via pinfall.
I'm going to say no, because I feel like Rock's beaten him before, but I know he hasn't at Mania.
So what are you saying?
I'm going to say no.
It is true.
Oh. Okay.
Which TV personality has appeared at WrestleMania as a guest interviewer and in-ring competitor? And again, you have options if you want them.
Yeah, I might need that.
Because this is all women, right? Kim Kardashian, Nene Leakes, don't even know.
Who?
Snooki, Maria Menounos.
Oh, Maria Menounos.
Yeah, because I remember she did like...
I know they both
correspondent work or whatever you want to say.
That's what kicks. I know both of them have wrestled.
Right. How long did it take, number 13, how long did it take Sheamus to seize the World Heavyweight title from Daniel Bryan?
18 seconds.
At what, WrestleMania? That's not part of it, but
28.
Correct. Bart Gunn's, number 14, bid to upset Butterbean at WrestleMania 15 ended in less than a minute during the final battle of what infamous WWE tournament?
Brawl for All.
Correct. 15. What WWE Hall of Famer competed in 4 WWE title matches across back-to-back WrestleMania events? That's tough.
What?
I have, so Hall of Famer, so that already limits it. Somebody in the Hall of Fame. 4 WWE title matches back-to-back main events. So 4 in a row main events. I have options if you'd like. None of them are super current. He's thinking. If you're in the audio version of this and you can't see him, can't see the wheels turning, you want options?
4 consecutive. What are we?
Main events.
Oh, main events, not WWE title matches?
No, it says back-to-back WrestleMania. Oh, no, sorry. That's not even true. Back-to-back WrestleMania event. 4 WWE title matches in 4 straight Manias.
Okay, because I was thinking Hogan, but then...
No, not even a possibility. Not one of your options. You want the options?
Sure.
Angle, Austin, Nash, Yoko.
Not Austin.
Okay, process of elimination. Talking to your mic, though. You're barely speaking, and
Not
you're far away.
Yoko.
Still can't hear you.
What were the other 2?
Nash, Austin.
No, I already said Austin.
Angle.
Angle and Ash. I feel like I'm not wait. Their Angle
Oh my
would be
goodness, hurry up.
19.
Pick one.
I don't know, Angle.
You've eliminated Yoko. It was Yoko.
4 consecutive WWE title matches?
What it says.
That can't be right.
Hall of Famer competed in 4
Oh.
WWE title matches across back-to-back Manias.
See, when I think WWE title, I just think the WWE title.
No, you always do that. You have to think
That's
of
not
the
on me.
whole lineage.
That's not on me. Because like then that includes his tag title matches, which is not at all what I was thinking.
Which decorated tag team made their long-awaited WWE return at WrestleMania 33 to
Hardys.
Thank you. All right. Couple more. 17. What? The weird one. What day of the week did WrestleMania 2 take place?
Monday.
That's right. We think that one's come up before in our trivia at some point.
Oh, I also just saw it in a video.
Who retired after losing the Intercontinental title to Rey Mysterio in less than 30 seconds?
TNA star John Layfield.
JBL is correct. I forgot he's over there now. Which former
He's
MMA...
following Nemeth for some reason.
Yeah, right.
Like, he managed him in AAA too.
Weird. Penultimate question here. Which former MMA champion served as the special guest referee for Hart's controversial clash against Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Camera.
Correct. I thought I was like, you don't know this one? Because I think
no,
I do.
because I was confused for a second, but then I got it.
Number 20, last one. We'll carry on. There's 20 more for next week. Which Evolution alumni tapped out to Daniel Bryan's WWE Championship clinching yes lock at WrestleMania 30?
Batista.
Correct.
I remember seeing the picture in the book and his head looked like a brain. It was just like...
Oh, it's a wrinkly?
Like, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you did very well there, obviously. We'll move back into whatever we watched from the world of wrestling this week. Anything notable? It's called Highspots and Restholds. All right, so I don't know how much you're aware of from Raw. I watched it all, and I sent you
minimal.
I sent you a couple clips from NXT that were interesting. I almost sent you a link to a YouTube video because Rizzo had a long speaking bit with Tony D.
Oh, I don't want
that I thought you would enjoy immensely. So Raw started out with serious CM Punk cutting a very lengthy and droning promo, to use my words, to start the show. He's got more matches in him than we think. He's made a mortal enemy in Drew. No one wants him to take the Hell in a Cell match, but he's stubborn and amazing, so he's going to do it, right? He promises to make Drew bleed, and that Drew will have to kill him to stop him. And I feel like I'm convinced this guy has a victim complex, and even though he's like beloved in every arena, and fans chant his name, and fans chant his name,
acts like
he's not even there. He acts like all the fans are against him, right? And it's just
it doesn't work.
It's so annoying to me. But anyways, and I guess it also just sounds fake. It takes me out of it when he's like, my own family's asking me not to do this, because like we know it's not real, right? So that's, I don't know, but anyway, I get what he's doing. But this lets him feel like the conquering hero, right? Because he does things
because that's what he needs.
Like he's doing things that everybody, like other people, do regularly, but for him, it's like this amazing thing that even though tons of people have done all this, but anyways, whatever. Sheamus implores the fans to chant Butch during his match with Pete Dunne. And I just mentioned it because it annoys me. Like, there's no other way to go, right, than to remind us that. And because,
I like that, like, it annoys Dunne because it should, or like that, like when initially Dunne was talking about like the disdain he spoke about
but
it.
Now it's all they have.
It makes sense. Like, he hated it. He shouldn't have been stuck with that, and it was like an embarrassment for him. But then now it's like this trigger for him, and now it's just making it stupid.
Because I feel like in a very WWE fashion, they're like, hey, we just noticed that Butch is really close to bitch. And that's a word that we love on this show.
Yeah.
So we got to run with that, right? And it's constantly, however they can work it into like paybacks of Butch and all, just like, it's awful. And so the match, you were there for the match, Sheamus and Pete Dunne. It was pretty good, but I thought there were a couple of clunky moments. Remember, Sheamus went for the Alabama Slam on the announce table. Didn't work out great because there wasn't enough
it looked kind of
room.
soft. It just like the drop wasn't there enough.
And then Pete Dunne goes to hit out a sit-out powerbomb, and Sheamus puts his arms out to protect him, which bugged me a little bit,
which
too.
I feel like isn't the point of the sit-out powerbomb already that it like takes the impact off, right? Because Dunne's coming down with
some
him.
Of it.
Yeah.
And I just thought people don't do that on... Anyways, the finish I thought was a dud as well, remember? Because Dunn reaches under and gets a cricket bat. Like the shillelagh's a distraction.
And he hit him in the arm, which makes sense because he was targeting the arm, but then he just kind of pump kicked him for the win. Like
and
no bitter end.
Very good contact with the shoulder either.
It was a bitter end away from being a decent finish.
Right. And then he wins with a boot. So strange match, to be honest. Some good action, but a few issues along the way. Feels like there's a character change coming for Miz because he's backstage. He's been having issues with Bronson Reed took out R-Truth and him, right? And so he's talking to Braun Strowman, and Braun's basically like, you're not the guy to like...
Yeah.
So, and Braun was showing off a giant bruise on his right arm too that looked crazy. But anyways, I've heard somewhere that Miz has to turn heel because when Cena comes back, he's going through some of his greatest hits, right? Or whatever. So that
makes sense.
Kind of makes sense that Miz...
I saw something, someone saying like, I think it was World Culture article saying like, yeah, Cena's got to up his game.
Right.
If he's doing this big last run, because he hasn't been overly stellar from what I heard in those last couple things.
And I don't think Miz is going to pull an amazing match. No offense.
Miz can have a good match with other good people. Like
he can.
He had some crackers with Rollins.
But I'm not sure he's the guy to carry it.
That's Rollins.
Right.
So.
Anyways, I thought that
was... also peak 2018 Rollins.
2 women's matches on this show. First one, not so great. It was Natalya pinning Zoe Stark with a roll-up.
I heard that match was boring.
It was boring. Stark's an impressive athlete. Natty is not. Average stuff. And again, like, your new tough heel shooter faction loses.
And they're named what?
And somewhat this time to somebody commentary mentioned hasn't had a singles match since June. Early June. And she's rolling in and beating your new...
You mean when she went to the underground, perhaps?
Probably. I would assume so. Finn Balor confronted Rhea Ripley, accusing her of being selfish and ruining their family with Judgment Day. This is where he admits, remember we were suspicious that he was behind the scenes telling Dom
makes sense.
To go for Liv.
Makes him look smart, at least, that he's been orchestrating this.
Yes. But again, it makes him look like he's the leader of the group that he complained had a leader when it wasn't supposed to. So
I guess because he's still benefiting them. And
again, he's a heel, so in his heel logic mind, maybe not.
But I think at least there's also like, he's leading, but he's also kind of benefiting them. Like he's got tag titles with JD. He's helping Dom get a better girl. Liv has the belt too. So it's like, and I guess from his point of view, Priest was leading, kind of taking over, like doing stuff for himself, Money in the Bank. He didn't really care about their tag titles. And I guess there's something kind of there.
Yep.
And then also being a heel, he can just kind of heel logic it if he really needs to.
And then Jey Uso shows up. Balor tells him that Ripley's out of Jay's league. Balor walks away, and Uso's kind of like, is that true that I'm out of your league? And she says no.
I hate that she has to pretend to be like smitten with him.
I know, but he should go focus on his match or whatever. So Balor, again, admits he was manipulated Dom, which I like. And I guess we learned Jey Uso has a shot with Rhea Ripley because
that's what I want.
We care. Then Uso cuts a promo in ring, and both he and the crowd are really obnoxious, right? Just the whole yeet after everything he says. And him doing this to try and get them to do it, even if they don't want to do it, is awful. But basically, what he says can be summarized. He's going to finally become main event Jey Uso. Braun Breaker interrupts.
By winning the mid-card title.
I think you saw some of this too. Breaker interrupts, talks about how he doesn't need his family or their name to be successful. And he's already done more as a single in like a few short months than Uso has in a really long career. And he's going to expose Jey Monday because Jey is nothing without his family. Things get physical. Braun with a punch, Uso with a spear. Braun rolls out, holds up the title. I just don't care for Uso as a single at all, and agree with a lot of what Breaker said here, right? So Jay's kind of a joke to me. Maybe that's strong language, but I
agree. I feel like we've been on that train since
we have.
He's become this yeet machine.
Yes, and the glasses, the whole thing.
I did like some of this promo bit though, because some of it was more serious, kind of talking to Braun. So like those parts I liked. I thought Braun was pretty good. What I've seen,
I'd have Breaker decisively dispatch of Uso. I have a feeling they won't. I'm not saying Breaker's not going to win,
but it won't be as decisive as
I would
for
like.
Sure.
I thought a couple of Breaker's lines were stupid, but that's not his fault. It was like
I thought Jay saying he was going to dog walk him was kind of stupid.
Breaker going, I don't work for the title works for me. Like I don't even know what that means.
I keep hitting the cord.
You are kicking the cord. Be careful.
My bad.
It's an important cord. So anyways, Kairi Sane is still hurt, her eye from smashing it off the table that couple weeks ago. So Io will take her place with Belair, which I thought was an upgrade. And then somewhere within this, we see that 2K ratings for, I guess, 25. Guess Sane's rating. Because I made note of it.
Oh, no. it would be for 24 because the DLC just came in.
Oh,
she's
okay,
in
sorry. So Sane
Isn't
relative
hers
to
like
Jade Cargill.
74?
So Sane's I think was 78, which means Cargill would
Cargill's
be
85.
Yeah, that's wild to me.
Because I think that's also kind of based on their stand.
I'm sure.
I think Carlito was 78 or something. Dragon Lee was 77. Michelle McCool, I want to say, was 81.
Nice. So JD McDonough and Finn Balor get a win, but only sort of as a prop to further the story of the New Day potentially breaking up, right? So LWO came out.
Because they have Judgment Day beef.
Right, so they brawled with Judgment Day. Kofi makes the decision to jump off the top onto the pile of them outside. That leaves Woods alone in the ring. He takes the coup de grace. Woods is super mad after the match, and you could hear him yelling every time, like every time. So I don't think they'll split these guys.
I don't think so. I think maybe Big E makes at least an appearance to like kind of make peace, whether he's ready to go or not.
I think maybe they refocus and maybe find some edge. I don't know about heel, but like maybe.
I definitely agree though that they're not. I don't think they're splitting.
I don't think
don't
so
think it
either.
makes sense, and
Me
especially
either.
because as they're approaching a decade,
Right,
not splitting up, you got to do that.
Right.
You got to do it.
And then in a segment a little later, Woods says that the LWO cost them the titles. Kofi says something about how they no longer have, like, we don't have Big E anymore. It's just us. And Woods is like, exactly. You're saying just, right? Like, just us. Like, we're not enough sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with, I still don't think they're breaking up, but it's kind of interesting to
They're
think
doing
about.
a decent job with it,
Right.
for sure.
Quick Wyatt video in their style with the QR code at the end that I didn't click on.
I forgot about those because I was watching their stuff every week.
Cool visuals, meaningless. We got no new, unless the QR code was something, right? I'm just
I don't know.
I'm just not going to do that.
I didn't even know there was one.
You know, like you're like this. That's just one step too far for me. Now I have to put in effort. Like I can't just watch your show.
I don't mind it.
So
it's
I
just
won't
like
do it.
The QR codes were more fun before they debuted.
Right.
Where there's like some more mystery to it.
Cool video recapping Bronson Reed's recent path of destruction. He's taken out Rollins, R-Truth, Miz. And then he's really annoyed that Braun got Reed's title shot when Reed was off with COVID, I think. So that's fuel to the fire with his issues with Braun, which is fine. So they're supposed to have a match. It doesn't happen, but I thought this was a really fun brawl. And let's be real, I don't want to see Braun Strowman in a match. He's terrible. In fact, I should get him up there for worst wrestler of the year if he has a few more matches. But basically, he whips Reed into the corner and the top rope just snaps off right away.
I thought that was the match.
So they're brawling. I don't know if it was, and then they threw it out because it broke immediately.
Right? Yeah.
So Bronson Reed threw a fan at Strowman. Unfortunately, they didn't catch it perfectly, and they showed it the replay. It was kind of an interesting, clearly an indie plant, and just like lawn darts him at Braun was cool. Little later, Braun gets to flip a golf cart a la Braun flips heavy things that we did.
Shades of 2017, 18.
Wow, that long. I was going to say a couple years ago, many years ago, I guess.
Many moons ago.
We had him taking the tsunami through a table, and then Strowman kind of responds by spearing Reed through a wall. So a bunch of cool spots by a couple of huge guys. I thought it was fun. And again, preferred it to a Strowman match, I think. Reed's cool, Strowman not so much. They didn't really sell some of the moves, right? Like, so pretty much Strowman gets tsunami through the tables and then is almost right back up to spear.
Yeah.
But as a guy who, I don't complain about that in AEW matches, right? Where everyone's like, oh my God, they kick out of everything. So I'm not going to complain about it here. I thought it was fun visuals, one after the other with two huge guys. My next note verbatim says, if Adam Pearce thinks that Sammy is a worthy opponent for Gunther, because he says this to Kaiser, why doesn't he just make the match? Is this not his literal job?
Yeah, and then was he not complaining about like not having worthy opponents? Since now there's one right here. You admit it, and you're like,
and you're the guy that
should I make the match?
Right. So it's kind of dumb.
Confiding into your champion's second in command.
But I found it for you because I thought it was really good. Kaiser later cut a promo on Sami Zayn, right? Citing sort of Zayn's and Owens. He's like, you want to talk about loyalty? Like, you're a hypocrite, man. You and your best friend turn on each other. As soon as one of you gets more successful than the other, then you have a problem with it, right? After they had an in-ring segment, Sammy had been talking about, again, I'm the only one that's beat Gunther. Gunther's ducking me. Kaiser came out to defend Gunther at that point. Sammy tries to basically drive a wedge between Kaiser and Gunther. Gunther comes out. Kaiser acts like it might be working, right? He's like, I have something to get off my chest to Gunther. And you're like, supposed to be like, oh my God, is it?
You should be like, here's something for your chest.
And then he turns and attacks Sammy, obviously. Gunther again refuses the match, walks away. Sammy recovers and sort of takes out Kaiser with a German suplex and a haluva kick. So good segment, a bit lengthy probably, but I really liked the promo that Kaiser cut there. Thought it was good. Bianca Belair, this was the good women's match. I really like this 12-minute match. Io won by countering the KOD with an inside cradle, and commentary made it act like this was like some indie newbie. Like, this is Io Sky, man. Like, she's
champion,
right?
At Mania,
amazing in ring too. So, anyways, lots of athleticism, cool counters from both of them, and for me, this was a reminder of how good Bianca Belair is because I don't watch SmackDown.
She's really good, yeah.
She's incredible. Good match, the best on this episode of Raw, I thought.
All right, I guess she can get on Rock. She's got the cross brand tag titles.
Thoughts on Cargill so far? I know that we don't watch, but like, is she successful? Are they happy with her?
I don't think she's been overly successful considering they always have to hide her in tag matches, and I've seen her botch a couple times.
And I don't,
which isn't like a huge deal, but I'm just saying she's clearly not polished at all.
Or they would be just pushing her to the moon.
But they're clearly like hiding her, which is smart, but like clearly they're not. She's not as big as they thought she'd be yet because they're hiding her, and she's not like they're trying to polish her, kind of like
I think so.
Do not a Diesel Shawn thing, but like I don't know, something like just tag teamer, you know what I mean? And so I think it makes sense because Blair again is good to like kind of help her with that.
Right.
I think it's more so how long it takes to get her where they want her to go, because like that'll kind of be the judge of.
It seems like she's one of those that just doesn't pick it up super fast.
She might not, because she plateaued hard in AEW.
She did,
and again,
we were like the same kind of like Trick and Hook.
Absolutely, like Trick.
Man, if she keeps progressing the way she is, she's going to be amazing.
The style is also different over there,
yeah.
So like that's why it kind of remains to be seen here. But like it's only been like what, her first match was Mania.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's still time, but I don't think her progression's been outstanding or anything.
I don't think it's what they were hoping for sure.
I don't think.
And again, we don't watch SmackDown, but I consume a ton of wrestling stuff, and I don't hear people raving about her.
Yeah, and
because I'm not in WWE.
We've seen a couple of her pay-per-view outings.
I'm not in WWE fan echo chamber places either, so maybe in those places they love her. I don't know.
But that doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. I thought a good American-made video where they clearly announced that they're like, we're done with the Wyatts, we're done with the Wyatts, we're moving on, we're done with the Wyatts. So hopefully that is true.
I think you gotta build to a blow-off match with Otis and Gable. I mean, it would suck for Gable to lose that, but I feel like you have.
Because he's still wearing the free Otis shirts for some reason.
They never did. Yeah, they never did that, right? So no. I feel like they should do that.
And I think we need to get this group to gain some momentum and get the creeds presented better than they have been. Because these dudes have massive... Again, the caveat is you have to actually care about the tag division, which I don't think they do, even though Triple H is supposed to.
Yeah, it's so weird.
But the creeds, if you want to have a tag division, are awesome, and Gable can talk for them.
The tag titles have not made it on a PLE since
Mania. That's what I mean. So
either of them.
Well, it's great to say the creeds could be an amazing tag team if you're in a company that doesn't care.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they should split the tag titles. I think they should have hard unified them.
Right.
And then
focused on them.
I think the linear design should have been the SmackDown ones. I think those are beautiful. But you have those are your only belts. Like,
right.
The Raw ones have no need to exist.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like, Balor and JD made their first defense this week.
Right.
And they've lost.
As part of basically a different storyline. It was just like they were a prop to something else.
Because the New Day.
To the New Day.
Yeah, and then they also lost to two different super teams involving Jey Uso.
Right. Exactly. So not exactly like focusing on that division.
Yeah.
Damian Priest beat Dom in a pretty standard 12-minute match with South of Heaven. So Judgment Day post-match beatdown of the Terror Twins for the millionth time, it feels like. They hit Priest with a couple coup de grace. I think Liv took out Ripley with another Oblivion and was making her watch. Jey Uso comes out to try and help, but he gets speared by Braun Breaker, which I liked. At least he's now involved a little bit there. So Raw hasn't been a huge chore to watch lately, but it's certainly for a few weeks there, I was like, I'm almost as entertained by this as Dynamite, because Dynamite
You're definitely
was
enjoying
in a lull.
it more in recent weeks. I feel like it's like there's been a bit of a drop off for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Moving on to NXT, quickly hit on that. Ava's out for first segment for the Trick Page contract signing, and it's just like this. How can arguably, and most people would say he is, the most charismatic wrestler of all time, have such an anti-charismatic daughter? Like it is pretty shocking. she's just there.
Well,
And her
I
speech
think her speech
has
is
gotten
so
better.
awkward, and it's just like it's not
how people speak.
not good.
It's not. And she is just like,
And obviously the in-rings have to pan out because that's why she is what she is now.
charisma vacuum might be a bit strong, but only a bit strong.
I'd say devoid of charisma.
It's weird. Like all of it went into dad, and it just got locked in there.
I think it just skipped a generation.
That's possible.
We'll see how Ava's
right?
kid
That's what
fares,
it feels
right?
like. That's right.
The fifth
The
generation.
fifth generation
star, right?
one.
Like,
third and fifth are the strong ones.
I mean, did it really skip generation? Because wasn't Rocky Johnson something, right? So
he was. I think he was charismatic.
Before
my time.
He's notable enough to be like something, right?
Yes.
So I don't know. Like, and Rock's never been accused of being a ring general, but clearly he was always serviceable and could.
He was good enough.
He could do a match.
Exactly, and then the charisma
Ava
was it.
Could not
at all.
Can't do either.
So Trick comes out first, doing butch jokes right away. Of course, right? Talking about how he'll beat Ethan Page in 2 weeks. Page interrupts, and he's like, "No, I like the theme." So he starts doing it himself and mocking Booker T's little antics in between all. So that was kind of funny. Things obviously escalate. Page kicks Trick, power bombs him through a table. Segment ends with nobody signing the contract. So that's something we revisit on this show. Standard stuff. Trick stumbled at the very beginning. I forget what line he delivered, but he stumbled a little bit. And the Hendry song is still following Page. It got sung here again, and that kind of annoys me.
It will get annoying for sure.
But he addressed it because it was like, because it's put on some clothes, and he's like, "I'm dressed like $1 million" because he was in like a nice suit and whatever.
That's a good recovery. So, that's a good recovery.
Tony D and Hammerstone are backstage. Tony's annoyed because last week he paid Hammerstone to take out Femi, and instead he got beat by Femi pretty quickly. He wants Hammerstone to ask Ava for a rematch with Femi. Hammerstone doesn't want to. Tony said, he says, like, you should take care of Femi yourself. And Tony's like, maybe I'll take care of you or something. So that gets us a match between the two tonight.
That just seems like he's going to take him out for a nice meal at the restaurant.
And Hammerstone's an interesting case. He seems like he's pretty good, but not great at anything.
He could be
other than looking like
he could benefit from being in NXT big because it'd be developmental because he's like pretty good, but he's not as bad as like the Greenhorns in NXT, but he's not as good as like Alexander or something.
I think his physique maxes him out because it's not like he can be flexible or anything with that much bulk on him.
Well, yeah, but
so I think
what's his
limits
excuse
him a
when
bit.
Brian Cage exists?
Agree. He's a freak though.
Brian Cage is a freak.
And
is that why they call him a machine?
Because he's
a freak.
They are doing also Hammerstone a disservice by not letting him hit the Nightmare Pendulum because that move is sick.
Yeah, but is he going to do that on Femi?
No, but like have him kill a jobber or a security person or something because that's going to help him get over.
They should have built that.
It's almost like they don't want him to get over because the match this week, he lost to Femi in like 5 minutes or whatever.
I saw tease that Hendry might be done doing WWE stuff for a little bit. And so, yeah, like if you're going to spend time getting someone over and then like they're just not, obviously they're not going to be there forever because they're other company.
Maybe that kind of sounds like Hendry beats Nemeth too, maybe, right?
Yeah, I think they got to put stock into him. Otherwise, he will go to WWE.
It's one of those strike while the iron's hot.
They have to, or WWE will.
Agree. Lyra Valkyria, Tatum Paxley in a tag team match.
You mean Tyra?
What? Is that what they are?
That's what WWE socials have called them.
Stop. I did not see that.
There's the social media insight you wanted.
They beat Chu and Rosemary, who are joined up because Spooky.
Rose Chu.
That's not good. Rose Chu sounds good. Pretty good 10-minute tag match, actually. Paxley hit, like, I called it a spinning suplex thing. I don't know quite
her finisher thing?
Yeah.
It's weird.
And then Lyra.
I honestly don't know what you call it either. It's kind of like, it reminds me somewhat of like the Page turn, like the lightning spiral thing, but like it's not.
I knew you were going to correct me if I called it that. So I did.
Yeah, it's not, but it's like, I really don't know.
Suplex isn't really the right word either.
It's not, but like, I don't know.
I mean.
I don't even know what I'd call it. Like, I need Excalibur on that.
So Lyra followed up not with the splash, but she basically hit Mello's finisher.
I saw that. I didn't like that. That's gimmick.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
Lonnie should take offense to that.
Yeah. So I thought Lyra and Paxley actually seemed like a decent tag team, despite like their origins of I was stalking you.
You know what made me chuckle is when I was looking on community creations for Mello logos on 2K. One of the ones there's the Kalani stuff, and there's a sign that said Kalani is her, which is funny because it's Mello Riley, but also funny because it's not true at all.
It's not. She speaks on this show. Funny. It's coming up.
Oh, no.
No quarter catch crew. It looks like from their segment and later in the show, too, we see them wrestle. Heights and Bourne are going to be an actual tag team because Dempsey makes some reference to it, which I think is a good idea. And
But,
then
like,
Dempsey tells Sinclair that she needs to make a name for herself, like, if you're going to be in the group. And she's like, I am in the group, right? Because she is. So she gets fired up and chops Dempsey and then heads off to go make a name for herself, which she'll try and do a little bit later.
as long as she's not doing it with half pants.
And this group's developing into like an interesting one for me. I like they've sort of got their set group now. I like the addition of Ren being kind of a different vibe from the rest of them. So yeah, I kind of enjoy, and I think Tavion
She's like
Heights
the opposite
is,
of Shafir, though.
yeah,
Like,
Heights and
if we're
Bourne I
comparing
think
it to
are
Blackpool.
set to be an impactful tag team again in a company that doesn't care.
Tavion seems cool. Bourne is, you can't hear.
His scoop slam is crazy. His Randy Orton power slam looks awesome. Anyways,
Which I feel like he's gotten comparisons to Young Orton before.
for sure, I've compared him for sure.
I know
There's
I've
a
heard
lot of
somewhere.
similarities. I feel like.
Except for the hearing.
So the Hammerstone Tony D match happens, and Tony ends up walking away from
I
it.
saw that. That seems odd. To
He
me.
took a belly to belly. It was basically barely getting started. So Femi was shown watching from backstage, and he's like, "Haha, Tony is broken," basically. So Hammerstone's first NXT win, I guess, but no Nightmare Pendulum still. And again, he's just a tool to further the story of Tony D at this point. And then in a segment later, Tony D admits to his group that he is afraid of Oba Femi, that Femi is a machine and a destroyer, and that Tony can't beat him.
No, Femi's not a machine. We've been over this. It's Brian Cage.
Odd storyline for a babyface. Like, I'm scared and I can't beat this guy.
Like, I guess it's like, it feels like a Hangman thing.
This
though.
feels like this is a final story before you get out of here, because we're painting you as like being scared.
Might be. I mean,
I don't know.
he's been there since 2.0, so
Right.
it's been a while.
But what
I
else
feel
is he
like-
going to do?
Yeah, and
He's been heel, he's been face. We always say they
and
try
I feel
him
like the
out.
only one who hasn't been there a while is Rizzo, because I mean, Luca hasn't been there crazy long either. But
No, not at all.
decently.
So then in an even later segment, I told you Rizzo's alone with Tony, kind of talking to him about the situation. And Tony says he'll do some special train. Oh, basically she talks him into, face your fears and take on Femi. No matter what happens, we'll support you. So he's like, I'm going to do some special training ahead of the match. And then they hug. So I don't know what this special training is or what he's going to come at differently for Femi, but
If it's him doing like vignettes in Africa,
I don't know what it's going to be.
I wouldn't put it past him.
No. Wentz shows us a clip of Wes Lee taken by Anonymous attacking Trey Miguel. Looks like he slammed him in the
I
door
don't
of his
know why
car.
we need to see that, because wasn't it already implied that it was him? So it's
It
like,
was, but
it-
it's again like sometimes WWE assumes their fans are pretty stupid and
I
don't
guess,
pick up
right.
on subtlety. Wentz says it ends in Chicago, and I imagine Wesley gets the win back here, right? I don't think they're having TNA guy go over twice.
Yeah, or at least you do, so then you can have the excuse of a tiebreaker, which is weird because I feel like the street fight would be the tiebreaker.
Yes.
But anyway, in any regard, I feel like Wes wins this one at least, and then you can work from there.
So we have Tyrese Halliburton on the show this week. He is an athlete from the sport of netball.
Yeah.
Correct. Basketball. You
Nailed
actually
it.
knew. You got it. So he's with Ava, and he's saying that he can get the championship contract
He's
signed.
He's been on TV before. I think it was main roster. I don't know why he has been multiple times, but
And I guess there was a bit of a comedy angle here because he doesn't know who Robert Stone is, even though Stone is like, I picked you up from the airport. So ha ha.
that
ha.
is so funny.
Hilarious. Fatal Influence talk trash about Lola Vice. Then Jada
Mean
Parker.
Girls talk trash. What?
I know, right? That's basically, I could copy and paste that every week.
Mean Girl talk trash.
Back in the women's locker room, Mean Girls talk trash. Pretty much guaranteed. Anyways, Fatal Influence say they run the women's division. And then we're straight to the locker room where Lola Vice is talking about not wanting Jada Parker's help either. Kind of like, Parker doesn't want my help. Random girls are there, or women are there with her too.
That's how you get your foot in the doors. You get on TV and as like an extra.
That's
in
right.
NXT
That's how it
vignettes.
starts. Parker walks in and she and Vice exchange a few words before Vice says that Parker can have Fatal Influence once Vice is done with them. Eddie Thorpe beat Ashante Theodonis in 3 minutes with his Impaler DDT. So Ashanti comes out, gives a woman a rose, I think, and a kiss on the cheek. And then during the match, he's actually controlling most of the action. He goes to blow her a kiss and then immediately takes the Impaler. So DJ Platonic gets a win, which is good for him. And Ashante's like love of the ladies cost him a match, which is consistent with this story, right? Like, you pay too much attention to the women. DJ Platonic does not, which I think is just what I'm going to call him from now on because I think it's awesome. So anyways, Thea Hale and Riley Osborne are lamenting the situation with Ridge Holland taking out the other members of Chase U. Osborne says that he'll get Ridge out of their lives next week. Highly doubt it. And I'm wondering if this is. I still think Hale's going to reveal that she's on board with.
I could see it happening.
So she might screw over Osborne. But what does that mean for Osborne? Because now
which would be more interesting because then like they had the whole love thing before.
Right. Riley and yeah. And so Osborne, I just worry like what he's going to do because they haven't.
Him and Duke can tag.
I guess, yeah, that's true. So we'll see because remember, Thea Hale is like Ridge's daughter. So I'm thinking at some point. And again, we always say they want to try her out as a heel.
Ridge's daughter or Chase's daughter?
Ridge's daughter.
That seems weird.
Yeah. Just remind me of my daughter.
That is odd to me.
There was a lot of that. CM Punk, since I didn't get enough of him before, he takes his first stab at ruining this show for me as well with a really long segment that involves Roxanne and Julia. So Punk is in NXT to have fun. He tries to put over some of the NXT, like it won't be long. And before the NXT talent get here, he mentions Lexis King.
Right, makes sense.
Then he talks about Mello and Breaker, who are already long gone and successful. So whatever. I guess he's trying to say like, see, NXT people can be good on the main roster.
That's why he mentioned Lexis King.
Roxanne comes out. She talks about idolizing Punk when she was young, mentions Punk's wife and Punk's hiatus from wrestling. And then she sort of drops the line of that's when she realized she should have been a Drew McIntyre fan, which was kind of funny. Says he should leave Larry at home. And when Perez beats Julia, Chicago will become her town and not Punk's. Punk responds, likes Perez's attitude, mentions Belair and Sky killing it on Raw in their match, says that none of it will matter when Julia beats Perez in Chicago. Julia comes out, says that the countdown is on. Roxanne has 2 weeks. And then she goes to leave. Perez goes for a cheap shot with the belt, but Punk sort of stops her from doing it. And I don't know, man. Punk just seems like shoehorned in here, right?
Well, it is because it's for the views.
It's Chicago, and so they're shoehorning him in.
It 100% is.
And it felt like he was like, no, I can just go out and ad-lib this, guys. Don't worry, it's me. I'm CM Punk. I'll just do my thing. Perez sounded a bit nervous to start.
But all the NXT fans don't want me here.
Right.
So.
Oh, yeah. Perez sounded a bit nervous, maybe because she did idolize Punk. Like, that's quite possible. Or AJ Lee, I would think, possibly, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I swear there's like a clip of her meeting AJ Lee or something.
I believe you're right.
I swear they've shown something like that before. I think you're right.
Somebody young did, and it makes sense it was Roxanne.
It was either her or Cora Jade.
So the mention of main roster, the women on main roster killing it, sort of makes me wonder. Perez loses to Julia, and she's gone too.
She has to be gone.
What the heck does she need to do?
There's your big moment to kick off on the CW.
Right. And then Julia is, I don't think there's any way she's losing, right?
Yeah, and then maybe you don't have to have Trick win, because there's your title change.
He's going to win, dude. I'm nervous. I'm pretty confident in it.
Probably. It's likely because, Paige...
We'll get, because I do have questions.
Paige has already been pinned 15 times in this title run.
It's been normalized,
as
they say. Kalani Jordan with a contradictory promo backstage a little bit. I thought she was like something about fatal influence, and I'm all about defending the title against people who deserve it, like implying it's not them. Then she immediately goes, I'm contemplating doing an open challenge like Jordan Grace does, and I want the women from Fatal Influence, whatever. Is that what it is?
No, you got it.
To step up. So at one thing, she's like, they don't deserve it. Stop bugging me. So I'm going to make an open challenge and you guys should challenge me. So I was confused.
Okay, so...
And she sounds bad, too.
It's not an open challenge if you're targeting it to specific people.
That's
just challenging them to a match. Like,
I
don't care if you're challenging anyone from the group. It's not open then. It's still closed just to a small subset of people. That's not...
Very true.
It's a challenge. No open.
So Ren Sinclair comes in, and again, she's been told to make a name for herself, so she just slaps Kalani Jordan. So I thought that was funny. Javon Evans, Cedric Alexander beat Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne in an 11-minute match.
Javon and Cedric would be a pretty cool team, actually.
Cedric hit the lumbar check, which I still think is cool.
It's a good move.
And then
it's not as good as Roddy's.
No,
it's
cool.
a similar effect, but it's still a good move.
So lumbar check, Evans with that twisting splash thing.
Which didn't look like he hit it all.
So I did feel that this was the first match where Evans got exposed a little bit for being inexperienced. Some of his stuff was not as clean. Some of his like flippy, twisty kicks things didn't really connect as well as they should have. And you're right, he didn't nail, like he drilled that, was it last week I was saying, I think, to somebody.
I don't know.
So I do like Heights and Bourne as this strong athletic tag team though. Legit tag teams are few and far between. They could be one again if the company decides to care. Dion Lennox dominates most of a 3-minute match with Jensen. But Jensen, you know what fired him up? Jensen went too far. He touched beyond Lennox's glasses. That's it, right? And then it ended up Spears is at ringside reaching for the glasses as well, and Lennox like steps on his hand or whatever. Anyways, sudden DDT, Jensen wins. And Lennox is super athletic, but it seems like he's doing like he's really green. So it's like do all this basic stuff, but do it high energy, right? And then the glasses just trigger him into being
That's so dumb.
fantastic. It was so dumb. Wesley with a cell phone promo from his house, saying that he did what he had to do to Trey Miguel, and that the street fight in Chicago with Wentz will end everything. And this was probably the most believable he's been as a heel to me. It was the first time I kind of was like, yep, okay, I can. He sounds like he actually is a bad guy here. Did you hear who Fraxium's going to be taking on in St. Louis? From main roster?
Not the Machine Guns.
No, not a team I really want to see, frankly.
Good brothers.
Not that I dislike both of them. No, not to that level. Younger, obnoxious.
No, we like Pretty Deadly.
Yeah.
Theory and Waller.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I don't dislike them, but I don't know. I would have preferred.
There's better choices for sure.
And I think though they're at a level where Fraxium can beat them. Is that the point?
Easily,
I sure hope so,
easily.
right? So
there's no way they win that.
Yeah.
I'd say they're even like lower in standing than the Good Brothers, just because Good Brothers have been winning regular. Like
how dare you, sir?
Good Brothers have been won somewhat regularly on NXT,
True.
and Theory and Waller lose to Kevin Owens and Randy Orton every other week.
Good point.
So
Lola Vice.
They actually lost to Owens by himself the other week, so further proves my point.
True. Lola Vice beat JC Jane. Remember? Did you watch the little cringe bit I sent you? Wasn't it
With
awful?
Parker, yeah.
Like where?
And then I was like, to you, like, well, okay, explain it first, and then.
So, but I was even saying the clip I sent you after was the little bit from their entrance where JC Jane is mugging, and then
maybe I didn't see that.
Fallon Henley still doing the tip of the cap. I didn't send sound, so you can watch it right now.
Okay.
And Henley does like the tip of the cap.
Okay,
like,
there it is. Yeah.
It's so cringy. So check it out.
It's so Toxic Attraction knockoff.
It's 100%. Like Jane's doing the same thing.
Jane is the same.
Anyways.
Okay, that was stupid.
Henley tries to get involved and trip Lola Vice. Lola Vice is one step ahead, hits the spinning back fist right off of that, and pins JC Jane in like 2 minutes. So obviously post-match, the heels beat down until Parker comes out to make the save, and I sent you like, I think my text was, you know I love Jada Parker, but this did not go well for her.
Yeah.
She's supposed... Go ahead.
And like, so she's like trying... She basically struggles to toss out all the heels. And then I was like to you, so this is why they keep booking women's battle royals. I feel like they do that somewhat regularly on NXT, right? Like, it just feels like they've done it a bunch.
And so, yes, I forget the first one. She goes to clothesline someone over, and they don't get all the way over. And one was her hip attack thing, right? I think the hypnotize.
And they didn't go through completely.
And we're getting a can these two coexist between Vice and Parker. They're going to have to
that's what you're talking about. When
they're going to have to join forces, right?
All right, I see.
Then the main event, we circle back around to the contract signing. We bookended the show with this for some reason. So it's Tyrese Halliburton out to lead the proceedings. Trick comes out to sign, then Paige, then CM Punk has to come out again. Because if he's going to be on the show, he's going to be in the main event. I assume that's part of his demands. Surprise, surprise, the crowd chants for it. He agrees. He's guest referee.
He's guest refereeing in the main event match, so still, like, case in point.
Yeah, and they're like, he's like, I don't care if you start the fight now. They do brawl for a little bit. Officials separate them. I think this telegraphs a Trick win here, because as if you're not going for the image of Punk raising his hand, right? Like, I don't... And how do you have babyface Punk there to referee and be an antagonist for Ethan Page and not have, like...
I mean, they kind of did that when Trick was referee, and then Page still won. So it's like,
I guess I feel like Trick's
I
winning
agree
again.
though. I feel like it's. I'm just kind of.
And I think,
I'm hoping here.
And I think it's the wrong play from a couple vantage points. Like, one, Trick's not as hot as he was, and he's not progressed. And two, Page's reign has to me been sort of underwhelming. And
because they've done it horribly,
and it's not Page's fault.
It's not his fault. No, they've just done
what
it
they've given him, right? Like, I get. And yes, he can be an amazing, like, cowardly heel.
But they played it completely wrong.
I agree.
The false pinfalls, and like they've just done it horribly.
And even the Hendry stuff that's lingering, he's not serious at all, right? And you can be serious and coward. I don't know. I'm not thrilled with it. But that was it for NXT. I did not watch DNA this week. I apologize. I may check it out again at some point, as they're supposed to be on this path to their biggest show of the year, right? Or one of them. I don't know. Is it Bound for Glory, Slammiversary? Which one's their Mania? I don't know. But anyways, and you said you don't really have anything pressing for figures this week?
The only thing I have was a couple things from SmackDown I can run off.
Oh, yeah, please. Sorry. I forgot.
One was the
Forgot it
Wrestlemania. So
existed.
Andrade lost to LA Knight. That's not the one I want to talk about because I figured that would happen.
Yeah.
But Melo and Andrade to have their 6th match next week despite finishing their best of 5 series. So they went from having the best of 5 series, and it's like, winner gets the title shot. Now it's next
Amazing.
week. Series, Andrade leads the series 3-2. No, it was done. Like, it'll be great, no doubt. I'll maybe even watch it.
Yeah.
But it's just an odd move to do this right after they have the series for a title shot. I feel like you could do a 3-way at Bad Blood, which would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So
the series is over, but we're continuing.
I feel like Melo should be the one to take the belt from Knight at some point. Not now.
Right.
Not now, because I think Knight deserves a decent run, because he needs to
I am
kind of be
so out of the loop for what's going on that show.
I just think Melo should get the belt next, because I think that would be a great spot for him.
And we love Melo.
He needs to start getting elevated up.
He's an FNS fave.
Second Resthold.
Yeah.
Again.
Oh, really?
Again.
In seconds again?
No.
He didn't see this is Vinci getting.
Little decent, but Vinci lost him via roll up again.
Was it Cruz?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Again.
So this is it here if you're watching.
Again, yeah.
What is the plan?
Somewhat of an action. That's what I'm saying.
I love Vinci.
Losing streak things rarely ever work, and if it's gonna work, usually they're established first. Vinci, this is him getting repackaged after he got kicked out of Imperium. He's on a new show. All he's done is lose to Cruz in minutes.
And I would argue that the best part of Vinci's package is that he's awesome in the ring.
Yeah, and then
so you're taking
he's awesome
that
in the ring,
away.
and he's got the model kind of character now, which works for him because you can be the kind of arrogant.
But he's not the strongest actor.
No,
whatever.
but this gimmick kind of helps him because he can kind of be the fancy model type.
Yes.
But his
you're
thing's
taking his best aspect and smashing that right away.
To lose to Cruz too, no offense, but
offense,
Apollo Cruz.
Yeah. He had potential at a time too. He's a guy that really suffered from being moved up from NXT too fast.
Yeah, and then they brought him back down and didn't even really do him favors though.
Did not. Well, remember the gimmick he was doing with what was that again? He was
visions in the bloody eye,
writing in his journal and having visions in the coffee shop.
And then the coffin match with the casket match with Waller.
So stupid.
And then he had the match with Melo.
Right.
The 2 or 3 Falls at Vengeance Day before. That was when Melo wore those blue tights that are in 2K23.
Of course.
And that was right before Melo's ascent to the main event scene.
Right. Any other SmackDown
last
notes?
one was the double pin in the women's tag match. They contrived a way for both Bayley and Naomi to pin Jax. They're teasing the friends fighting over a title shot again because women never do that.
That's right.
And I thought it was weird they randomly made this a tornado tag match, but I now see it was a way to contrive a double pinfall because in a normal tag match you would not be able to do that.
True.
So
they worked backwards from that point.
Essentially. Because it was obviously Jax's team with Strat.
I forgot. I forget some of these people exist because I will say Raw really doesn't talk about Smack, or maybe that's part of the highlights. I skip. Maybe I don't know.
Well, that's kind of the point of the brand split is that they're their own thing. So
you can really forget it exists. I can forget Cody exists. It's nice. It's freeing.
But then you're not getting the weekly Fatuing.
That is true.
That's the disadvantage.
I miss Jacob Fatu.
You missed Cody and Roman having the cinematic conversation at the Georgia Tech field.
Great.
Because that's
something.
Makes sense. That's Bayley and Naomi versus the title shot next week, so at least there's no triple threat with a double pinfall. But something tells me they're still going to do a triple threat.
Yeah, it feels like that's where the end game.
Although if I have to pick one triple threat, I'd like Melo Andrade and LA Knight.
That'd be
one
fun.
Sounds better.
Yeah,
you just do Jax and Naomi. I
haven't seen any of the Melo Andrade. It's probably been good.
I watched the one that was supposed to be the end of the series, and then I think the other ones I've seen highlights because I haven't seen. I know Melo's changed gear a couple times because one time he was wearing the black and the white stripes. There was a red one with
white stripes. You said white stripes.
Red one with white stripes and
white stripes again.
Black logos, and then he wore this kind of cool purple one. In the match I watched, I think he wore maybe the blue one the one time, but I know he's had changed his gear a bunch throughout the series.
Yeah.
So I know there's been matches. I don't know why I would talk about that.
Anything else?
No, but that does remind me. I made a lot of Melo gears on 2K, and some of them are. I gotta show you later. Actually, they're genius.
I believe
I'm a creative genius.
You are a creative genius. Video game should be in video game design, maybe.
Yeah.
For your path. Anyways, I guess that's gonna bring us to the end of episode 218. Coming in under 2 hours around our normal spot. Again, I was in my mind, we shouldn't be that long today.
A little shorter, I guess.
Always the same, pretty much, yeah. But thanks for joining us for any amount of time you stayed and listened to us. We'll absolutely be back next weekend for episode 219. We hope to see you back. Plus, bring some friends, tell someone about us, because we don't tell anyone about us. You're an exclusive club if you're listening to us every week. Appreciate it. See you next Saturday. Until then, everybody, take care.